we'll see. If we just stay consistent, hopefully when the season comes back up, we'll get right back to normal.
Yeah. All right, come on, Streamlabs. Go through. Go through. You're right there. Bam. Finally. All right, we're live. So, what's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's Noname back at it again with another episode of the Young Guns podcast with my host, my boy Kidblue RB27. What's up, Kidblue?
What's going on, huh?
I'm good, man. First and foremost, whenever you guys get in here, let me know how the volumes are. Uh, I'm going back to this headset mic, which for some reason the past couple of weeks was giving problems, and now all of a sudden it's working again. I don't know what's up with it, but I'll take it. And also let me know if Kid Blue's volume is good. What's up to Jersey Life in the chat? Bradley, Edward, Chan, how you guys doing? Kid Blue, how are you doing, man?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. We got some Giants news today, man. Joe Judge came out and had a press conference.
Joe Judge came out and had a press conference. You sound so nonchalant about it, but he's like, Joe Judge came out and had a press conference.
Now I'm hype about it. There's a lot of information in there.
There was a good amount of quotes in there. What's up, Lestat Walton in the chat, nerding out sports? How you guys doing? Listen, there was a good amount of information in there. Chat, did you guys look at that video, by the way, and check out Kid Blue's video on it? Cause like all I'm saying is you should check out those videos. There's some good amount of quotes in there. Now we're gonna talk about those quotes right now, but still go support the boys, check it out and all that.
Yeah, go ahead and do that, guys.
Exactly, yeah. Edward Chan says Beal. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Sam Beal a little bit later, but we do indeed know he opted out, Edward. First, let's talk about the Joe Judge press conference, man. This is the second press conference in 1 week, I think, or is the second in 2 weeks? But last week there was one also. I did not really talk about the one last week because, it was just like a general type of press conference thing, not really any type of new information that we would know about. This week, however, we did get some stuff, a bit more juicy stuff. What quote you want to tackle first, man?
I guess we could just start pretty much in order. I mean, they mentioned Nick Gates at first.
Nick Gates, yep. Let me pull it up right now. Or do you have it pulled up there?
I don't have any quotes pulled up, but I know kind of the gist of what they were talking about. Nick Gates obviously was re-signed by the Giants, and one of the first questions that were brought out there to Joe Judge was in reference to Nick Gates and, how do you envision using him since you just re-signed him? They said to quote-unquote big money. That's what the reporter said, which is not really big money, but big money, I guess, to a depth player, a depth alignment, but the Joe Judge pretty much said what we've been saying this whole time. He's a versatile guy. They feel like he's valuable. They're going to try him out at every spot. Now, they said that he's going to have an opportunity to start at any position, but I think that's complete bogus. I think he's just trying to be as neutral as possible and as non-controversial as possible. And he's been very consistent with his quotes throughout the whole entire time he's been the Giants head coach. He's always said, nobody has a guaranteed starting role. We're going to see how everything plays out. This is a new regime. This is my first year, and everybody's going to get an opportunity to have a position. Nobody has a set position, which, in all honesty, is not the truth. But he's going to
like,
say
for
that,
example, Saquon, Daniel Jones. Like, we know these guys are getting on no matter what.
Right, like you don't see like Wayne Gallman competing for a starting running back job. You know what I'm saying? So same thing with Nick Gates. He says that he's in competition for every starting spot available, the 5 starting spots, which I think.
Well, I don't know if he said he's in competition from the starting spots, but he did say he's going to be splitting time in training camp between the 5 starts.
But he did say he was going to get opportunities to start at position, at certain positions. So in all reality, I'm only giving him a shot at right tackle and center, very, very slim.
I'm only giving him a shot at right tackle. I still can't see the center happening, despite everybody saying it's going to happen. I haven't seen anything that showed that.
Right, I completely agree. I mean, I'd only give him an opportunity, I'd say, to center at right tackle because all the other positions are pretty much solid. Will Hernandez, Kevin Zeitler, Andrew Thomas, pretty much no moving that. Nick Gates isn't going to be challenging that spot anytime soon. So, yeah, that's pretty much the Nick Gates conversation there. Nick Gates.
So, yeah, my thoughts on it. And first off, shout out to Kevin Cronin in the chat. Kuzan, yep, and Mike Nixon. What's up, Mike Nixon? How you doing, bro? Real quick, Bradley says, Kidblue, are you playing fantasy too? I'm going to get Kidblue. I'm going to start a Giants YouTuber fantasy football league because I haven't seen anybody else do that yet. I know it's an idea that's been floating around, not just from me, but other creators too. I'm probably gonna do it after the stream is over because it's honestly really easy to do it on the ESPN app, and then
Right.
I'll invite Kidblue over. Bradley's talking about because I'm having two subscriber fantasy leagues, and I'm gonna do the draft this Friday. So guys, tune in for that. The draft will be this Friday. I have one PPR league and one non-PPR league. We'll see how it goes. So my thoughts on the Nick Gates thing. I agree with you. Judge is just being Judge. And first off, Joe Judge, man, every time he speaks, and I have to continue saying this because we haven't seen him actually coach yet. But every time he speaks, he sounds like a seasoned veteran coach. I don't know how
I
he does it.
know. Yeah, I said in my video, this guy acts like you would think just by watching his press conference that he's been there for years.
Exactly. Bro, even I know before the chat we were talking about the exclusive tour that the Giants did. You say you didn't get to catch it yet, bro. Watch how he just behaves, the way he carries himself in that tour, the way he talks, the way he walks. It looks like he's been the Giants head coach for a good 5 years or something. You know, he's calling people by like different titles, which is like kind of shows familiarity because you're not referring to everybody as the same thing. With Jason Garrett, he's like Coach Garrett is over there. With Jerry Shaplinsky, he's like Jerry's it over there. He's like he knows what to call them, how to respect them and
Yeah.
whatnot. I'm assuming, of course, because Garrett is a lot older and would have a lot more control of the offense. He refers to him as coach and whatnot. But so, small things like that. I'm like, he seems so put together. He seems like it just gives the feeling that this is the guy.
Like every time you watch him, like I've still yet to watch the facility video and everybody's talking about it, but just in the thumbnail, the way he's pointing at like something or something like that in the thumbnail, like you just see that leadership, man. I mean, he's like Optimus Prime, man. He's
Yo,
like
my boy
Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime, bro. That's a perfect example, bro. Optimus Prime is
Optimus
the dude.
Prime. Oh man, yeah. Joe Judge is awesome, man. He's awesome.
Bro, Autobots roll out. Giants roll out, bro. We got to battle the Decepticons, aka the Cowboys and the Eagles, man. But yeah, to the Nick Gates thing. He was talking about splitting him between, for practices. He said the all line coach Mark Colombo and obviously Jason Garrett. Everybody that's gonna deal with practices on that side of the ball, they really have to figure out how they're gonna split practices for Nick Gates because they can't. With the amount of time we have left, it's gonna be near impossible for him to be exposed to everything fully. But I was like, I agree with you. I think he's going to get a lot more time at right tackle because he's going to see. I fully expect him to be the starting right tackle for most of 2020. I don't think it's going to be Cam Fleming for most of 2020 or Matt Pert for most of 2020. So for them not to put him at right tackle, a lot of times in training camp would be a travesty. But that's what I fully expect, based on the Nick Gates comment. And then, of
Yeah.
course, I think we talked about this last time, too. The Giants and obviously Joe Judge, also, they have to see something in him that we don't. Because they love this guy. I don't know what they see in him that makes them love him as much as they do. But there's other options out there, You talk about the Jets guard, Brian Winters. He got
Mhm.
released. If you want to talk about depth, they could go for that. Now, there hasn't been any right tackles or tackles in general that come to my mind when it comes to being on the free agent market right now. But the comment, like you said, about placing him on different parts of the line just tells me that they're a big believer in him when there's other options available. Like, I think somebody from the Bills is also available, an offensive lineman from the Bills that either he got released or he left the team or something like that. There's a lot of options in terms of depth for the offensive line.
Yeah, I completely agree. They definitely have an eye on Nick Gates. And listen, they might know something we don't. Who knows? Maybe they've seen something in the past, practices behind the scenes that they like or, what have you. But we're just watching him on film. I mean, he's
Do you want to give us a sneak peek of that? Because I know you said sometime you're going to do like a breakdown of
yeah.
Nick Gates.
Yeah, so just to tell you guys, Nick Gates doesn't have the footwork to be a consistent tackle in the NFL. His kick slides are non-existent. As soon as the ball is hiked, he has his feet parallel to each other, and that's not something you want in a tackle. You have to have one foot in back of the other to have that kind of anchor. That's what they call it in the offensive lineman talk. You got to have that anchor, that kick slide to handle speed rushers, power rushers. You got to have that anchor to handle the bull rush. I mean, he does not do that. And if you watch the film against the New York Jets, the reason why he was successful even without the kick sliding and the anchoring is because Henry Anderson is garbage as a pass rusher, couldn't get to Nick Gates in time, and had it been anybody else, I mean Jordan Jenkins too. Jordan Jenkins sucks on the Jets, so I mean Nick Gates was able to do well on them too. But had it been anybody else, I mean, we're not even talking about Aaron Donald. Anybody more experienced as a defensive end, can just bull rush the guy and knock Nick Gates straight to his butt. He does not kick slide whatsoever. The ball is hiked, and he just stands there like a sitting duck and tries to use his strength to
Is there any
handle the
specific
pass
game
rushers.
or play that comes to mind when you talk about him not doing the kick slide?
The Jets, it was all game. The Jets all game, and I think it was because the Jets defense didn't have film on Nick Gates. They didn't expect Nick Gates to be in the game because I think Remmers had gotten hurt early in that game. So Nick Gates came in, and Henry Anderson and Jordan Jenkins couldn't really figure out how to get around Nick Gates. They were stunting around him, but they were really going to the defensive tackles. And I guarantee you, had they had at least 2 or 3 games of experience on Nick Gates, and they knew he was going to start that game or knew he was going to play that game, all you needed to do was bull rush the guy. You could knock him straight to his butt. I'm telling you.
And
You
did that
gotta watch Nick Gates.
the Jets game, did that play with Jamal Adams where he literally took the ball at Daniel Jones' hand? Was that from the left side or the right side?
I cannot remember. I didn't even watch that play. I watched a
I
little bit.
want to say it's from the right side, but that could
Yeah.
be my bias against Nick Gates talking. So I'm not gonna say it exactly, but I mean,
I'll go back and look. Yeah, I'll put that in the film review.
yeah. But when you think about the tackle spots like that, like how much of an improvement are we realistically expecting from last year's tackle duo? Which, granted, it should be easy to improve from last year's tackle duo since they were the worst in the NFL when it came to pressures and sacks.
Yeah, when it comes to that, you really can't get worse than last year. Besides Eric Flowers and Bobby Hart, and we don't have that. I
Yeah.
think Andrew Thomas is a huge upgrade. He's probably better than all of those tackles combined. So Andrew Thomas is going to be solid at left tackle. Of course, he's going to have the struggles. The 14 padded practices, no OTAs, no preseason games are going to be an issue
Starting
for Andrew
off with the
Thomas.
six teams that they're starting off with. Is the Steelers, Rams,
Right.
49ers. Jesus, man.
Right, a tons of defensive talent. You could argue the first 8 weeks are going to be extremely bad because you got the Eagles in there as well. They have a decent defensive line. Um, you know, the offensive line shouldn't be worse, especially the tackle position should not be worse than last year. So I want to give everybody kind of a sigh of relief a little
Yeah.
bit. You know what I mean? So the tackle position is going to be a little better.
I
So if you
expect that.
ask
Listen,
me,
I expect guard play to improve because I think Will Hernandez had a down year, but I expect him to improve again.
right, and Will Hernandez has been trending up every year. I think he's been getting better every year. So he'll get there. I already think he's a rising star. Um, and Nick Gates, you could argue in the 3 games he's played, I mean, he hasn't played a huge sample size, but in the 3 games that Nick Gates has played in, he's been a lot better than Mike Remmers.
Hmm.
So, I mean, you could argue that Nick Gates is a possible upgrade, or maybe even Cameron Fleming is a possible upgrade from the right tackle position.
I
Probably
think
not
I think
much of
listen,
an
I'll say
upgrade.
this. I think Cam Fleming is definitely an upgrade from what you would call it, Mike Remmers. I'll say that.
Yeah, I'll definitely say that. And of course, Andrew Thomas is probably going to be better than Nate Solder. So I think the tackle position is going to be a lot better. So in all,
No,
in terms,
that's what I'm asking. You said a lot. A lot is a big jump. I'm saying maybe a good slight improvement.
hmm
Maybe you know what? I'm actually seeing a year like 2018 where the offensive line struggled the first 8 weeks and then they were good the second 8 weeks. I think it might be something like that.
okay, yeah, I agree. I agree. I definitely think they're going to struggle. They're going to have some chemistry issues as well. You got 2 new tackles. I mean, the tackle position is the most important positions on the offensive line, and we've got 2 new ones starting.
And then of
So
course center as well. I got a question here from Timothy. He says, "Will Golden Tate and Corey Coleman opt out of the 2020 season tomorrow?" Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if Corey Coleman does, but not Golden Tate. Golden Tate, a
he
lot of
wants to
people,
play.
he wants to play. A lot of people don't like him. I personally like Golden Tate.
I love him.
I like him so much that in my video the other day I said I think he has the stuff to be a captain, an offensive captain of the team this year. Golden Tate, I don't think people realize Golden Tate actually wants to be here. He's a Giants fan. People don't realize that he's a Giants fan since he was a
Yeah,
kid. Like he
yeah.
wants to be here.
Dude, when he got signed, he was so happy to be a part of a 4-12 team. I was
Exactly.
like, well, no, we weren't even 4-12 at the
At that
time.
time
What
we
were
were
we?
5-11 because he signed
Five.
last offseason.
Okay,
Yeah.
we were 5-11. He was so happy to be a part of a 5-11 team. I'm like, oh my god, this guy really wants to be here. And on top of that, going back to his Seattle days, he had some controversy in those Seattle days with Russell Wilson's girlfriend at the time or something like that.
Golden Tate out here wilding, bro.
Yeah, but I honestly don't think I don't know if that's true or not because Golden Tate seems like a really I follow him on Instagram. Seems like a really nice family guy, but I don't know if that was true or not. Who knows? But yeah, that
Golden
he seems
Tate
like
is
a really
listen,
good
man.
guy.
Golden Tate, he might not fit the Giants' offense as well as we want to, but that is a great player even on his best of days. But a really good player, really good wide receiver. He's not gonna opt out no matter what. He
And on top
loved,
of that,
yeah.
he's been promoting his his season this year. I mean, he's been promoting Go Giants. I'm ready for this year. On his Instagram, he's been posting highlights like every freaking week.
The
So
one
he's
thing I
he's playing.
hope, the one thing I hope is that he actually has a good relationship with the wide receiver in the wide receiver room, because I haven't seen him work out that much with Darius Slayton or with Sterling Shepard or with Daniel Jones, and part of me worries about that a little bit because once again we know that he wants to be here, we know that he loves the Giants and he loves the team. I hope that it's mutual. I hope that he's actually somewhat mentoring these guys and practicing with them and
Oh,
whatnot.
I would say for sure. I mean, every time you would see any one of those receivers catch a ball or even catch a touchdown, you would see the whole entire wide receivers go over there, including Golden Tate, and celebrate with them. So, including that fantastic game that Golden Tate and Darius Slayton had against the Jets. That game was insane for Golden, and it was insane for Darius Slayton. They were both celebrating together. So,
And,
I mean,
and yo, man, when I think about Golden Tate on the Giants, I think about he's been the crazy catch guy for us. The Patriots game, the
oh,
bobble catch,
that
and
Patriots
the
game was
Cowboys.
awesome.
Listen,
Yeah,
the Cowboys catch that was better than Odell's Cowboys catch. I'm not just saying that because Odell's not on the team. He
yeah.
was going out of bounds and he dragged it back into his chest, stayed in bounds and went for the touchdown, bro. God, that but the
He's
bobble
the
catch.
Yak King, man. He's the Yak King.
Exactly. The
Mm-hmm.
the bobble catch is literally the embodiment of him being the Yak King. Cause
Mm-hmm.
some dude was tackling him at his feet. Dude fell flat on his face. He bobbled it and got it, turned around and
I
ran
think
in.
that was Stephon Gilmore. I think it was Gilmore.
Stop playing.
Hold on.
Stop
So
playing.
somebody go back. Can somebody go back and identify the defensive back
Why you
who's
guys do that? Let
Golden
me get
Tate
to the
Pro?
chat real quick. Kuzan says, Kidblue, I seen how you did my boy the hub on Madden. I need to get revenge for him. Kuzan, you do that, man. I support you wholeheartedly. Um, Joel
uh,
Yado says, easy to see how Judge won the job. I wish I could see his interview. Me too. People forget that there's an interview
yeah.
process. That's 100% how he got the job.
Let me tell you right now. When the news came out, I remember exactly what happened. I mean, the moment it happened, I was working and the news had just came out that um this guy was hired by Carolina, right? Matt Rule. And I was like, damn, bummed out. What are we gonna do? And then I felt like it was a knee-jerk decision for the Giants, but it probably wasn't. It obviously wasn't. That the Giants
The
signed.
reason we all thought it was knee jerk is because it was literally the next day.
Right, right. And then the Giants signed Joe Judge. And it didn't even say Joe Judge at the beginning. It just said Giants signed Patriots wide receiver coach because they try to make it look like it was a stupid signing. So I'm like, what? Patriots wide receiver coach? I didn't even know this guy was in the running. Who the hell is this guy?
You know what's funny, by the way? Up until that point, and I think I've said this before, because the Giants did their own like coaching candidate breakdown series on their channel at the time.
Yeah,
Joe
he was
Judge's breakdown was the only one that I watched. I didn't watch anybody else's. For some
really.
reason, Joe Judge's breakdown was the only one that I watched, and I still
That's
didn't know who he was after that
that's
video.
That is crazy. And you know what's crazy? They kept saying Patriots wide receiver coach, Patriots wide receiver coach. He was the special teams coordinator too. I mean, he was a coordinator. Everybody keeps saying Patriots wide receiver coach. He never had a coordinator job. Yes, he did. Special teams, they matter too. Look at John Harbaugh.
I was just about to say,
They
bro,
matter too.
Ravens.
Yeah, they matter too. So, yeah, I would have loved to see this interview, man. I want to see the look on Mara and Tish's face. I want to see the look on Dave Gettleman's face, just like probably jaw dropped to the ground, say, dude, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Call Matt Rule right now and say we got somebody. You better accept something cheaper. But thank God Matt Rule
Because
loves
Matt
money.
Rule's contract was crazy too.
Yes, thank God Matt Rule loves money. Okay?
Facts. Because I listen, I'm not bashing him because I haven't seen him coach yet. Just like Joe Judge, like I said, we haven't seen him coach yet. But the decisions he made so far in Carolina, like signing Teddy Bridgewater to that contract and whatnot, I'm not confident in Matt Rule as of right now.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I'm not that confident in Matt Rule right now, but I think he's gonna be a benefit for Carolina. I think he's gonna build them up because the way he built up Temple, the way he built up Baylor. I know the NFL is a different game, but I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence. I think he brings that type of presence in there for success.
I
But
will say this though, but looking at his, like his game day speeches and stuff like that from college, they sound preachy to me. They sound like he's at church preaching.
a little motivational, too
No,
motivational,
yeah, it's
right?
like a little over the top preachy type stuff.
Too
Yeah,
cookie cutter stuff. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
one thing I never got when people were hyping him up before he signed anywhere.
yeah.
Versus Joe Judge's, it's motivational in another sense, where it's like it actually motivates me. Like I actually get where he's come from. It's not
Let me
preachy.
tell you, I have a boss. My boss right now, at my post office is like Joe Judge. I don't. He's not as great as Joe Judge, but my boss right now, he has the firm tone where you know he's not joking around, but you're not necessarily fearful of him. But you're like, damn, I'm gonna run through a wall for this guy. Like if you want me to do something, I'm gonna freaking do it. You know what I'm saying? That's what Joe
Out of
Judge is like, man.
curiosity, how many years under his belt does this veteran boss have?
He's got a couple of years. He got and yeah,
What I
I
say?
know what
What
you're
I
going
say?
at.
Joe Judge, man, speaking like he got
First
years,
year.
bro. I'm
First
telling
year,
you,
yeah.
man.
My boss has a couple of years under his belt, man.
By
So
the way, Christopher, I adjusted Kidblue's volume, so let me know once again if it's all good in terms of his volume. I adjusted it. It should be better now. Bradley says that his dream offensive line will be Andrew Thomas, Will Hernandez, Shane Lemieux, Nick Gates at right guard. I'm sorry, bro. He says when Zeitler retires. No, I'm still not putting Nick. I'm
okay.
still not putting Nick Gates at right guard. You know what? Let's talk about that because I saw a tweet about that. I think it was from Empire Sports Media. I could be wrong,
Talk
but
about trading Zeitler or
no, they were
cutting
like
Zeitler.
when Zeitler either is cut or he's gone from the team in a year, the next right guard could be Nick Gates. I'm like, nah. If Zeitler is gone, which I don't want him to be, I want Zeitler to play out the rest of his career in New York because he's still playing at a top 10, arguably top 5 guard level.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
severely, and I retweeted and I said this. People really underestimate how good Kevin Zeitler is. He's one of the
Oh,
best.
he's great.
He's
You
one
know
of the
why?
best offensive guards in the entire league. People really forget that.
You know
I want him
why?
to play the rest of his career here.
It's because he never made a Pro Bowl. That's why people don't really hear about Kevin Zeitler, which is messed up, man. I don't care about the Pro Bowl at all either. I couldn't care less about the Pro Bowl, but people use that as a sort of status, and they're like, hey, how many Pro Bowls has he made? He never made All Pro, which I think is absurd that he's never made All Pro. But Kevin Zeitler is one of the best. He's a fringe top 5, top 10
When
type
he
guard,
signed,
man.
listen, when he signed with us, he was top 5. Or when he was traded to us,
No,
he
no,
was top
wait.
5.
He was top 5 when he went to the Browns. I don't know if his
Nah, no,
Browns
I will
play.
argue, bro, because when he came to us, I would argue that he was still top 5 at that time. He's still top 10, regardless.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
he's
uh-huh.
still top. People, I don't. It really does amaze me that people don't realize how good he is, and that's why I want him to play out the rest of his career here. And
Yeah,
when he's gone, eventually, the guy who wants to replace him is Shane Lemieux, because
yeah.
that's what I
I
think he
wouldn't
was
mind that.
ultimately drafted for. I think he was ultimately drafted to eventually replace Kevin Zeitler. I want to say maybe 3 years down the line. That's how long more, 2 or 3 years I think Kevin Zeitler got in him.
See, in my honest opinion, I actually think Shane Lemieux was drafted for the center position. I think Dave Gettleman was trying to be creative and say, hey, this guy has shorter arms than usual to play guard in the NFL. He's a little undersized to play guard in the NFL. Of course, some people get away with that, right? Some people are undersized in the NFL and still play well. But he is a little undersized, and he may fit the center role. And I predicted that as soon as we even drafted him. I'm like, well, we just found our center. Well, at least potentially. And then now we're getting news that they're trying him out at center. So I think they want him to be a center, but you're right. If they do get rid of Kevin Zeitler, if Kevin Zeitler some sort of wants to leave or he gets traded or he gets cut, I think they will. If Lemieux's already starting at center, I think they're gonna try him at guard to see what happens. But
But
time
yo,
will tell.
please, Giants, please do not keep Kevin Zeitler, bro. Keep him for as long as he's performing at
Yes.
the level that he's
How
performing.
long is this contract still up? In 2 years?
I think I've seen reports saying it's up in 1 year, which is crazy. I
Let me
want to
see.
say it's 2 years, but
I'll look it up real quick.
while you get that, I'll get back to the chat. Joel Yato says Barkley needs to block better. Also, he was blown up a few times. Saquon Barkley definitely needs to improve in pass blocking. But I'll say this, man, when you can't be perfect at everything. He's almost perfect at everything else that he does. But yeah, he does need to improve in pass blocking.
Oh well, his rookie year he was actually fine in pass blocking. I think he just didn't want to take any risks last year because he was a little banged up.
Hmm.
So that might be the issue. His by the way, Kevin Zeitler's contract is going to be up in 2022.
So yeah, come on, man, Giants, keep him on, bro. Keep him
Yeah,
to like
keep him
2024
on.
or something. I think he's gonna be fine to like 2023, 2024. That's just
Then
me.
he's
I think like
and
another thing people forget: offensive linemen usually play into their late 30s.
let me tell you, we're getting him on a bargain.
Yeah,
Let's
we're getting him on a huge bargain.
remember this, okay? So he's gonna be paid. He's gonna be paid. His cap hit is gonna be 14.5 in 2021. This year's 12.5. Andrew Norwell, who the Giants were actively searching for because he was a free agent from the Panthers, who went to Jacksonville Jaguars that we missed out on. He went for $16.5 million. Okay, we're getting Kevin Zeitler on a huge deal. Okay, we're getting on at least $2 to $4 million deal, and if we resign him when he's an undrafted when he's an unrestricted free agent, we resign him, we're probably going to get him for even less money because he'll be older.
Exactly.
So I would keep Kevin Zeitler till he 2024.
Till
You're
until
absolutely
he
right.
basically, he can't do it anymore, and I
Yeah,
think
so
he
he
has a
can't.
good amount of years left in him. I want him.
Right.
I want him to be an anchor on the line for the future, man. I want him to be a leader on the team. And Ligma says, Hub, I accidentally made 3 accounts. I don't know what I did. So whoever joins spot 4 and 5 will have to change the username. I'm guessing he's talking about in the fantasy league. Ligma, I'll just remove 2 of your accounts. I'm pretty sure I can do that as an admin. I'm not. I'll have to check, but I think I could remove extra accounts and whatnot. Kuzan said, TJ Watt, Donald, Mack, Bosa, Sheets, good luck with our O-line, talking about some of the first opponents that we're going up against. Yeah, that's going to be, that's going to be hard, man. Nerding Out Sports says, I honestly love our wide receiver group. If they are all healthy, they can be a real solid group. Listen, for the starters, sure. For the starters, 100%. For the depth, where the competition is right now, you talk about Tony Brown, the 3 undrafted guys, David Sills, since he got taken off the COVID-19 list. That's where the competition is right now.
Yeah, and it's a bunch of inexperienced guys that their name, right? You know who David Sills is. You know who Benjamin Victor is. You know who Austin Mack is. You know who Corey Coleman is. You know a bunch of these names, but they're not. I don't think they're going to be consistent. You know what I mean? Like the depth isn't as strong as people think. Like everybody's getting hyped about this Tony Brown character as well. So
I
we'll
don't
see
know,
what
yo. I
happens.
don't know why people are getting hyped about it. I've heard people
Yeah.
say, yo, Laviska Shenault, he basically had the same stuff as Laviska Shenault. I'm like, yo, listen, bro, Laviska Shenault was a fringe first-round player.
Mhm.
Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But I don't think the Giants. A part of me wishes that we had an extra draft pick to get a wide receiver. Now, I was a huge advocate of not drafting a wide receiver last year. Okay, I'm one of the guys that everybody was pissed off at because I kept saying I don't want Chase Claypool, I don't want Antonio Gandy Golden. If we can get like a John Hightower in round 5, I'll be okay. We wound up not drafting a wide receiver at all, and I was completely okay with that. I wanted us to focus on different positions, but I am kind of a little upset how we spent so much on 3 inside linebackers that are probably not going to make the team
That
and
didn't
didn't
make
get
sense to me,
one
yeah.
wide receiver.
And
You
that's
know,
actually another Joe Judge. We started off the stream talking about Joe Judge quotes, and then we kind of got sidetracked. That was another Joe Judge quote, because somebody was asking about, like, bro, we got a lot of linebackers right now, whether it's on the inside or the outside. Like, what's up with that? And Judge's response was essentially, while they all play the same position, they're all labeled as the same position. They don't all do the same things, and they're not gonna use any type of lack of creativity to use these guys in the best way possible. Because, like you said, we have almost way too many people in the linebacker room right now. And what do you think
especially
about?
inside.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think about Judge's response? And then I guess give the thoughts you were about to get into with the inside linebacker group in general.
Yeah, as far as Judge's response, it really hinted at something that I don't think a lot of people have caught on to yet, that me and you were talking about before the stream. But yeah, we do have a lot of inside linebackers. Now, as far as linebackers as a whole, I guess you could include the edge rushers because they're basically linebackers as a whole. But as far as the outside linebackers go, I don't think we have enough depth, honestly. We only have 7, well, I think 7 or 6, no, 7 or 6
Well,
or
six or
7
seven, in if it was
edge
a
rushers.
quality depth would actually be enough, but we don't have quality depth. I guess is what you're
Right,
saying.
right. Well, 6 or 7 edge rushers in before the season is not good because you want to at least
You
cut
want
a
to cut,
couple
yeah.
of
You want
guys.
that's the number
You
you want to
know,
be at when we're actually at the season
right?
start.
Because if you think about the final 53 or 55-man roster, whatever it's going to be this year, it's going to have like 5 edge rushers tops. Where you're going to cut 2 guys and that's it. I mean, there's no what's the competition in there? You're going to cut.
Do you think that they're gonna run a lot more 4-3 sets than we would have thought originally, and
I
they're
think
and then
so.
we're just gonna have a bunch of defensive ends? Like, what's up?
Yes, because I think so because we have a lot of defensive tackles. We can afford to run that 4-3, and
And
we don't have a lot of edge rushers,
And
man.
there's one more thing. Like you said, we talked about it beforehand, and I made a whole video on this guy. I think back in February or March, Lorenzo Carter. This quote specifically talks to Lorenzo Carter. He's
Right.
late. Well, he is an outside linebacker. He is a pass rusher to an extent, but we agree the best use of Lorenzo Carter is probably going to be using him all over the field, and maybe as a middle linebacker or an outside linebacker in a 4-3 set, like what we just said. Maybe the Giants are going to run a lot more 4-3 than we thought, and Carter is going to be out there as an outside linebacker in the four. I think his position, to be honest, if he doesn't break out as a pass rusher this year, Lorenzo Carter's perfect position is outside linebacker in 4-3.
Yeah, I have a quote here. I wrote out on my article on fanfannetwork.com. I'm gonna
Oh, word? Go over to fanfannetwork.com. This man's writing
yeah.
articles.
Yeah, man, writing articles here, but I have a quote here from Joe Judge when he was asked about the linebackers, and he didn't need to say this because the question wasn't really directed towards that. They were really kind of asking what you're gonna do with these guys, and are the younger pass rushers gonna get time because we signed Marcus Golden and all that jazz. But he went on to say, building depth at certain positions is something we need to do. There are going to be there are going to be some guys that we go along or something like that that we're going to have at the outside backer position that we're also going to try out at the inside backer position. And what does that tell you? I mean, is O'Shane Zimenez going to be inside linebacker? Is Marcus Golden going to be inside linebacker? No, he's definitely talking about Lorenzo Carter. He's definitely talking about, and I think he was using
And also,
guys as a
Cam
general
Brown.
term.
I also put Cam Brown in the mix there because Cam Brown was drafted as an outside linebacker, but he's essentially an inside linebacker.
Right, inside. He's definitely inside. I don't know why. I mean, he in Penn State he was used both.
Hmm
He's used like Ed. He's like Lorenzo Carter. He was used as a edge rusher and inside guy. But Cam Brown, if they try him out, I don't think he's gonna make it anyway. But I think they're gonna try to experiment to see what they got in him. But yeah. I mean, when I read that quote, that's that's talking to about Lorenzo Carter. I think he used general terms like these guys, those guys. I think he's just talking about Lorenzo.
Because going back to what we were saying, he's being consistent as possible. Everybody has to compete for a spot, and he's keeping the terms as general as possible. It's what he's
Right.
been doing all off season.
Mhm. Yeah.
Dylan Renner with some concerning things here. He says, "Yo, for real, I just lost $42 in illegal gambling. KB, I owe you $10 too. When's your next live stream?"
A
Dylan,
lot of people.
what are you doing, bro?
Well, he bet me $10 that he would beat me in Madden in that stream, and he got demolished, man.
Yo, Dylan,
So,
slide some of that money my way, bro. What are you doing, bro? Kidblue's living life, bro. I'm out here struggling. Let me stop. Bradley says, anyone remember when Andrew Thomas just took Josh Allen for a joyride and shoved Josh Allen with one hand? Can't wait to see him pancake Chase Young. If there's one person that remembers that, it's Kidblue because he watched the film of that.
oh yeah, and let me tell you, he did. Nobody even talking about it, but he did the same thing to Julian Aquara from Notre Dame. He did the same, not as badly as Josh Allen, because Josh Allen just got thrown to another dimension.
Like
But
he literally took care of Josh Allen. The pass rusher, obviously, when Josh Allen was in his last year of college, literally a rag doll, bro.
the pass rusher that had 10.5 sacks in his first year in the NFL got handled by Andrew Thomas in college.
Exactly. Shout out to Engraven Vids in the chat. What's up, Engraven? How you doing? Go over to Engraven Vids' channel, sub him up. Same thing for Internet Sports. Any other video creators in here. Engraven, great NFL and Ravens creator. Go check him out. What's up to Harrison Jolly? Also, Edward Chan said, "You guys hear what happened to HSM? He went to jail for 2 days." I don't know if we should be talking about that, but that's sad
Wait,
to
did
hear.
he really?
I don't know. That's why
Well,
I'm like,
I
I don't
mean,
know if we should be talking about it. I don't know if
well,
it's
I
true.
mean, if they know, I mean, he must have posted it.
Yeah, you know what, Edward? Tell me how you found that out, and then we'll decide whether or not we should talk about it on stream, bro. Because I don't know. That's kind of that sounds like an iffy topic. Harrison Jolling is saying, "Okay, see you later." I'm guessing, OKC actually beat the Lakers. I tuned in at halftime, and I was surprised at how bad the Lakers were doing. I don't know if you watch too much basketball, KB, but it's surprising how bad they are so far.
Well, I mean, I was able to watch a little bit of the Lakers Clippers game, and I know Lakers were leading that game, and then Clippers tried to come back, and then Lakers pulled the
They
game with
pulled
shot.
yeah.
So I don't know how they're doing, but I never thought the Lakers would make it far anyway. I felt like their depth on their team wasn't great.
The Lakers' depth is honestly horrendous. Yo.
Yeah, so I
The
think they're just
best,
leaning on,
yeah, the best team in the West is the Clippers. It's just that once you have two of the top five players in the world, you can overcome a lot of obstacles, but not all the obstacles. You're gonna fall eventually. Um,
He said it was a premiere, so it's there. I mean,
okay, so he addressed it. I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. I hope he's okay. I hope he was not in the wrong, and it was only for 2 days. Maybe it was like a misdemeanor or something. But
listen, don't tell me he pulled a DeAndre Baker, man, because
Hearthstone was going through tough times. He said, "All right, B Baker, I'm gonna take one from your book."
uh,
KB is trash at fantasy. What's up to MMKG Studios, by the way? KB is trash at fantasy football. He gave me a C minus last year. Little did he know my team did an awesome in regular season, trash in postseason. I don't think you're supporting your comment by saying your team was trash in the postseason. But also, KB's not the one that gives out the grades. The app automatically gives out the grades
oh, for what?
for fantasy football.
Oh yeah. Well, oh no, I think no, because I did a live stream when I did the fantasy
Yeah.
stream, and I
Oh my
graded
God, you graded.
everybody's.
That's a mistake, bro. That's a big mistake. There's teams that will come out of nowhere in fantasy football, bro, and just absolutely
Yeah,
wreck you.
I graded them, and I think I graded Dylan Renner. I think Dylan. I don't think I graded you that bad. Was that Dylan that was talking like
Yeah, it was
that said that?
Dylan.
Dylan, I don't think I graded you that bad, but I mean I ate my words anyway because Dylan like came in second place or whatever.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, and Dylan for a long time was undefeated until he got beat by the first place, and then that's when
Yo, I
that's
was doing well in that fan. I can't remember what place I got,
I started like
but I
0
was
and
doing well.
6. I started like 0 and 6, and I came back and finished like 7 and 9 or something like that.
Oh my God, bro. Almost made it, bro. Almost made it.
Yeah, yeah.
Jay Ramos in the chat, he says, do you think DJ's added muscle will make a noticeable difference? I expect it to mean that he's not going to get injured this year. I'm not sure too much how it would relate to the fumbles, but that has more to do with him and his pocket presence than anything. What do you think about DJ's added muscle?
Well, his outer muscle definitely went to his freaking quads, man. He's trying to look like
Yeah, you,
Saquon.
you, you saw the pictures, right?
Yeah, he looks absolutely jacked, and it's not gonna help him with his fumbles, but it's gonna definitely help him with staying on his feet
Yeah.
and being a lot stronger, maybe even a lot faster. Who knows? With that power on the run, his legs can definitely be of use. And maybe he just be as stronger as he's not that hard. I mean, he's not that easy to take down. With that leg strength, the edge rushers are not gonna just come off the edge and tap him, and he's gonna go down. So, Daniel Jones looks jacked, and he's doing what he has to do to be successful, man. So I trust whatever kind of workouts he's doing to help his play.
Man, you want to talk about being jacked? Saquon looks even more buff, which is I thought was impossible. But he looks even more buff than he usually is. I don't know what Saquon has been doing. I need him to weigh in again, cause he was already like 230. He looks like he's 240, maybe even 250 now. He looks bigger than he did last year, bro. I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, he does look a little bigger if I have noticed that. Yeah.
This dude, he's trying not to get the high ankle sprain again, bro. He's like, just add more muscle, bro. Just add more muscle. Not gonna
Gotta
happen.
get stronger.
Gotta get strong, bro. I just don't hope it's not like Derek. That's what happened with Derek Rose. Derek Rose always wants to get stronger, and then tore his ACL. Basically tore like all the CLs, bro. The MCL, the LCL, the meniscus, everything, bro. He tore his whole
Right.
leg off.
Multiple times.
Yeah. So I hope Saquon doesn't go too far, cause there is such a thing.
Right.
Another quote that was in the Joe Judge press conference today, since we kind of referred to Daniel Jones a little bit, was he says he feels like the most important thing for Daniel Jones right now is the fact that he's out on the field and everybody can hear his cadence, see him out the field and see him performing. What do you think about that? And do you think that is actually the most important thing for Daniel Jones right now?
Well, first off, I want to give a huge congratulations to Joe Judge for identifying Jordan Renan because this guy hates the Giants. So of course he
Oh,
tries
oh,
to.
I didn't know about this, so you're going to need to tell me
Yes.
about this. What happened?
Jordan Renan always asks negative things about the Giants, and of course he would ask Joe Judge, "What are the things you told Daniel Jones to get better at?" I mean, why did you freaking ask that, dude? You know he's not going to answer that. Oh yeah, I want Daniel Jones to clean up his fumbling. And you think Joe Judge is going to throw Daniel Jones under the bus like that? So I think Joe Judge had a perfect response. He responded with fundamentals, right? He didn't necessarily say fundamentals, but that's fundamentals. Getting inside the huddle, learning, building chemistry with the other guys, like you said, getting the cadences right, and developing,
Speaking of fundamentals, a quote we'll talk about right after this is when he was saying what he expects the Giants to get done right in the offseason. Another quote, you know which one I'm talking about. We'll get to that one in a minute. That where he basically set fundamentals for the entire team.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a listen. That's probably the perfect response if you don't want to respond to it directly, right? Joe Judge is very good at circling around a question because not because he's trying to be deceitful, but I think he's just trying to be as clear cut and as like non-controversial kind of guy. You know, Pat Shermer did that, but it was very obvious he was trying to like hide something, that
Yo,
he didn't
Pat
want us to
Shermer
know.
just spoke like he always lacks sleep.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Joe Judge is not necessarily being deceitful, but not necessarily telling you everything because at the end of the job, at the end of the day, that's his job. He can't just give everybody everything to the media. So of course, behind the scenes, Joe Judge is going to tell him to work on the fumbling, work on ball security. But I think it was a perfect response to say, hey, fundamentals. Just get the huddling right. Be able to call the plays. Be able to build the chemistry with your offensive line and your wide receivers, and get out there and execute. So I love it. I love that
I
response.
I agree with you. I love the response. And then for like whether or not I think it's actually the most important thing, you said it. He's not actually gonna say he needs to improve his fumbles, but we both know that is the most important thing for Daniel Jones right now. Whether it's he needs to get his pocket presence down, he needs to communicate with the offensive line better, or he just needs to be more aware. Whatever the case is, the most important thing is for Daniel Jones to get his fumbles corrected.
Yeah, and let me tell you right now, just everybody, including you, Kush, every time you watch a press conference, always watch what Jordan Renan says, man. I'm telling you, always
Look
like
at Christopher. Christopher says Renan's got to get that clickbait headline.
exactly. Let me tell you, this is the same guy that said last year Alex Tanney looked like the best quarterback, he has to throw out the headline. He's the Giants version. He's the CNN's. No, he's the Giants version of CNN. That's what he is.
This man, bro,
Clickbait,
Jesus
clickbait,
Christ.
clickbait.
Oh man, Jordan Renan. Listen, maybe it's a good thing I don't follow him. Then maybe I recognize it at some point. And I just hit the unfollow button because I follow a lot of Giants like reporters and beat report.
Yeah.
Is he a reporter? Is he a beat reporter? What is he?
He's a ESPN reporter for the Giants, and I still follow him because he still breaks the news a lot. Because sometimes the breaking news goes through him for whatever freaking reason. But I follow Art Stapleton. I think I follow Matt Lombardo. I follow all these guys. Some of them I think they're clowns, but I mean they break the news,
I
so
gotta
I don't
follow my
care.
boy John Schmelk, the official Giants. He's like the only one that I know is the official one because he's on all their
Let
podcasts.
me tell you, John Schmelk, Lance Meadow, Paul Dottino. I've listened to their show for years, man, for
Big Blue,
years.
what is it? Big Blue
Big
Kickoff
Blue
Live.
Kickoff Live. Yeah, I
Yo,
remember in high school. In high school, I used to just listen to them while I was like falling asleep in like math class or whatever. I would just listen to them on my headphones. So yeah, I mean, that
Nerding Out
I
says the
appreciate
only
the
ones
sauce.
I trust are Rob Vacchiano and Art Stapleton. Art Stapleton at times can annoy me. Like sometimes he's right on point where I want him to be, and other times he just be
Right.
tweeting out some random stuff.
Completely agree. Completely
Like he's
agree.
hit or miss.
Yeah,
Rob Vacchiano, he doesn't tweet that much, but when he does, it's usually good stuff.
agree.
And
Yeah.
Edward, I'll get to your statement with Nate Burleson, but the next thing I want to say was Joe Judge basically said the Giants, what they want to get done this offseason with the limited time they have, is they want to get communication and identification of the schemes down pat. And I completely agree with that. I'm very happy that he recognizes that that's basically the only thing that they can get done, and it's probably going to be the most important. Because if you're going to roll out there with only 14 practices, you're going to go into the regular season with a team like the Giants, so young, everybody's new basically. You want to get the fundamentals down. Like you said, you want to get the basics down. You don't want to look like last year's team that looked lost, week in, week out. They were running the same plays over and over again because they didn't know. It looked like they didn't know what
Right.
the scheme was. So I'm glad he recognizes that, yo, listen, we're not going to get everything done. The execution might not be on point, but at the very least, with the communication and identification, you guys are going to be in the correct spots, and you're going to be doing the right thing come, game day.
Right. And you to give a sort of a figure of speech, you know, you can't try to jump your way up without seeing without using the stairs. You know what I mean? Like you can't just try to jump on the cliff without using the ladder that's right in front of you, man. Start with the fundamentals. Start from the bottom. Work your way up. Don't try to jump and skip to the top. If you don't learn your fundamentals, if you don't learn the calls inside the huddle, if you don't build the chemistry with your team, if you don't know the scheme, and you just go into matchups and you just try to do that kind of stuff, it's not gonna work, man. It's not gonna work. So I really love and it worried me in the beginning because this is a whole new coaching staff. Joe Judge's never been a head coach before. He's been a special teams coordinator, right? And it worried me a little bit because of the lack of practices that we had. But it seemed like he had everything under control. Like he even said at the end of the press conferences, the energy is awesome. That the
That's one of
energy
the
was
quotes
great.
I
They had
loved because
right,
you saw O'Shane Zimenez at the end of the 2 minute video the Giants put up on Twitter, bro. Everybody is just so happy to be playing football again. They don't care what's happening. They're just like,
right.
I'm so happy to just be on the field again.
It's a breath of fresh air. I mean, I'm telling you, Coach Joe Judge is a breath of fresh air. At the end of the interview, at the end of the press conference, he was saying that the energy was great, that there was a sense of urgency, like there was a sense of urgency, like the players were reaching out to the coaches and saying, hey, I need some help on this, hey, I need some help on that on their own. They weren't tasked with, reaching out to their coaches after practice. Like Joe Judge said that he's had a bunch of players reach out to coaches and try to learn new things. And, that's something you want. You want the chemistry to be built because in such a small amount of time with a new team, we're already at a disadvantage. The team's already at a disadvantage. They have to scratch and claw their way to try to be on par with everybody else as far as chemistry goes. So if they could build that on an exponential level, that would be fantastic.
It's great that you brought up the point that he brought up that guys were reaching out to him like that because this is gonna sound weird, but one of the best things that COVID has made happen for the Giants at least is the fact they had to convert every room in MetLife related to football somehow. And shout out to Lewis Brand in the chat. He says he's new to the stream. I'll get to your question. Andy Entertainer Talking Sports in the chat. The
What
Young
up,
Guns, he
man?
says, stand up, Giants fan. I can't do the shout because I'm in an apartment building. Maybe if I was in a house, I'd do the shout, but I can't do it. But yeah, one of the best things is that and like you said, you have yet to check it out, but the fact that every single room I'm talking about, they took rooms that used to be like VIP clubhouses and made it into staff rooms. They've took like nursery rooms that would be there for the players' kids and turn it into meeting rooms. That's one of the best things that have come out of this because now everybody's even more focused on a smaller level. Like before, we know they used to split off into groups with certain positional coaches to talking like that, but they have their own room now, and that being in your own enclosure, basically like in your own classroom, that just helps them focus more and it helps them actually get with the coaches more. That's why they're so comfortable, in my opinion, to go up to them after certain practices and whatnot, because they're spending a lot of time in their own pods, in their own little groups, just for the sake of separation, and that's probably one of the best things to come out of this.
Exactly. Being in this sort of bubble per se in the stadium, it's really gonna bring these guys closer together at the end of the day, man. Especially going through what we're going through this year. This year has been crazy. They're gonna be seeing these coaches, their teammates, the other staff members. They're gonna be seeing them more often than they've seen their families. So, and they're gonna be spending more time around them. They're gonna build that chemistry. So who knows? Maybe this is a blessing in disguise.
Bro,
This
which is
whole
why I
situation.
said, and I said this before the stream, and I partially got this idea from the guy in the chat right now, Tana, on the square table we did on Sunday. He's like, the NFL should try out their version of the NBA bubble. I'm like, the teams on their own should do their own bubble because, like you said, they're seeing only their teammates and whatnot. And one of the quotes was the players have to take responsibility because MetLife Stadium and the
Yeah.
MetLife facility, they've done everything in their power to make it as safe as possible. It's up to the players now to not do any stupid decisions and bring in the virus. They should legitimately just make it a bubble on a team by team basis because it's already that when they're there. Just have them stay at a hotel room or something. That's what the NBA is doing. Cut it down as much as possible. I mean, like you said, it's essentially just one step away from that, and they're already like their family is already the football team as it is right now.
Yeah, completely agree.
Let's get to Lewis Brand's question, by the way. He was the new one on stream, and then I'll get to yours, Edwards, about Nate Burleson and Darius Slayton. Lewis Brand says, new on the stream, welcome. But I was wondering, what are the odds of Chandler Catanzaro has of being the Giants kicker at the beginning of the season? I'm going to let you answer this one first.
Well, it's very hard to say because, like I said, when it comes to coaches, when it comes to GMs, you really don't know if they're really telling the truth, and that's not a bad thing. They're just doing their job at the end of the day. But in the press conference, Chandler Canzaro was brought up in the press conference, and they asked, did you really think that? They were kind of disrespecting him a little bit. They're like,
I,
do you
I, I
really
mean,
think
let's
he was
be
the right
honest.
guy?
I am not a fan of him. I said the same thing. Do you really think he's about to get the starting job? Like, I said
Yeah,
the
but
same thing.
let me tell you, the New York media is so savage, man. The New York media just does not care. They're like, okay, so what made you think that he was the right guy? What made you think that? But Joe Judge gave a really non-biased answer, really kind of um, neutral answer, right? He didn't really pick a side. He just kind of said, "Hey, I watched him. I've played against him. He's had great seasons here at this stadium." I assume he's talking about the New York Jets, and somebody has to look that up. But I don't think he's ever had a great
Yeah, he's
season.
never
Maybe a
had a
good
great
season.
season. I
Yeah,
think what Judge is saying, but embellishing, is that he's had experience at MetLife. That's what he
right,
really
exactly.
means.
So, and also the reporter had mentioned Steven Gostkowski. He never even talked about Steven Gostkowski. I thought,
Did
obviously,
anybody
a lot of people
mention
thought.
Graham Gano? I'm surprised nobody mentioned Graham Gano.
Right, exactly. So I don't. He kind of dodged that question very, very fast. All he said was, "Hey, I watched him. I played against him. He's played at the stadium before, and I watched him coming out of Clemson." I mean, do you really watch a kicker coming out of?
I
Do you
mean,
really watch?
he was
Come
the
on.
special teams coordinator, so maybe he did.
I mean, I don't know. You're right. You're right. But I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, as far as that goes, he probably will be the kicker. I mean, the fact that they signed him so quickly after Aldrick Rosas, after they released Aldrick Rosas, that means they already had a plan to sign Chandler before they cut Rosas. So they're going to be looking at him now. If we're going to sign some random kicker from the street for competition, yes, that's probably going to happen. But at the end of the day, Chandler Canzaro seems to be our guy.
As of right now, he's the front runner. As much as I don't want it to be that way.
Right. Yeah, I want everybody to do not expect Graham Gano to walk in here. Do not expect Steven Gostkowski to
Yeah,
walk in here.
it,
They're
like
not going to upgrade Chandler Canzaro after they just got him. They're going to try to give him put a fire under his butt a little bit. They're going to give him competition.
I don't know how
Make him
much
feel
I
like
agree
he's a
with that. I think
finalist.
that they might try and upgrade the spot if like they're willing to come here. Like if Graham Gano's agent or Steven Gostkowski's agent reaches out to the Giants, I don't think they're like gonna not take them on.
Right, but they might feel that Chandler Canzaro is the guy. They might
Do
feel
you
Chandler
really
Canzaro is
believe? Do
better.
you really believe that?
I don't, but the fact that they signed him so quickly,
To
I
me,
mean,
to me, that's just like they were covering their bases. They didn't want to be without a kicker for the time being. I think.
I don't know, man, because if there was no necessary like a rush to cut Aldrick Rosas. I know the season's starting soon, but I mean kickers are going to be able to develop. You don't have to learn a scheme as a kicker, so I don't think there was much of a rush to cut Aldrick Rosas. They could have tried out Graham Gano, hit them up, but they're jobless right now, so I don't think they would say no. I want to go to a winning team. I don't think kickers say that, you know.
They're not Jadavion Clowney, even though Clowney
Exactly.
recently said he'd be willing to go to the Jets.
Listen, kickers don't get paid anyway, so I mean, I
So
don't think
yeah.
there'd be argument for that.
Joel says no reports of guys sleeping in film study yet. That's very good. That's
Yeah, that's good.
That's very good. And let me get to Edward's Chan's question before it gets lost in the chat. He says Nate Burleson says that Slayton is going to have a breakout season. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree. I think Slayton's going to be the number one option as a wide receiver. If Evan Ingram is healthy, and maybe even if Evan Ingram goes out, I still think the tight end is probably going to be the number one option overall. Just, going off of what we saw with Jason Garrett when he was the offensive
The
coordinator
scheme.
for those like 4 or 5 years. I think tight end is going to be the number one option. But yeah, for sure, Darius Slayton, I don't know if he's gonna like necessarily get 1,000 plus. He very well may get 1,000 yard season, and you could classify that as breakout again. I mean, he just had 700 yards. Like I think his rookie season, even though it's underrated, was a breakout season to me, in my opinion. 700
Right.
yard rookie season was him breaking out.
For a
But
fifth round kid, yeah.
yeah, but like yeah, for a fifth round pick, it's definitely breakout. But I think he could be 1,000 yard receiver for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I tell you right now, but if Sterling Shepard and Golden Tate play all 16 games along with Darius Slayton, he's not reaching that. I think they're gonna
How
spread
do
the
you how do
ball
you
around.
think they're gonna use Sterling Shepard and Golden Tate though? The slot receiver. Remember, Cole Beasley left the Cowboys. At the time, they were still running a version of Jason Garrett's offense. He wasn't the offensive coordinator, but they're still running a version of it. He left the Cowboys because he wasn't getting enough looks in the slot.
Well, remember because Des Bryant was there, you had those type of guys out there. You know what I'm saying? So Darius Slayton's great, but was he a prime Des Bryant? I don't think he's there yet. But Shepard's gonna get his looks, and especially with those rollouts, if it's not the tight end that's gonna get the looks on the rollouts, it's gonna be the slot receiver. That's always the second option when it comes to rollouts. So I mean, we'll see what happens when it comes to that. But I think Golden Tate and Sterling Shepard are very talented. No matter
Listen,
where you
Golden
line them
Tate is
up at.
healthy. It's just that he missed the suspension last year.
Exactly,
Like Golden Tate for
exactly.
sure, I expect him to play most of the games, if not all the games.
Right, because the thing is, I feel like Sterling Shepard is definitely due for 1,000 yard season. If he stays healthy, he's a 1,000 yard
And
guy.
also the
I mean,
superstition. Sterling Shepard has always had great years when it's an even number year. It's a superstition. But anytime it's an odd number year, he has a bad year, whether it's because of concussions or something else. But when it's an even number year, he does well.
yeah. So we'll see what happens, man. But if Sterling Shepard goes down, I think Slayton definitely gets 1,000. Because we don't have anybody to replace Sterling really that of importance. So it will just be Golden and Slayton. So I think Slayton will get 1,000. But if all three of those guys are playing healthy, I think it could be any one of them.
I
It could be
think
Slayton.
I think
It
you're
could be
I
Slayton.
think you're
But
counting out the tight end position a little too much.
yeah, well, I'm talking about just the receivers. I'm not talking about tight end. But tight end will be a huge
Because I think the
contributor.
tight end group collectively, if Evan Ingram goes out, is going to get 1,000 yards, and that's why I say I'm not sure how much Shepard or Tate would get, because I'm not expecting Daniel Jones to throw an amazing amount of yards next year.
That you don't think Shepard can get a lot of yards?
Because I'm not expecting Jones to really throw for like
Oh,
4,000 yards or 4,000 plus
right.
yards. I expect a
But
lot of
here's the
running.
thing. I mean, as much as I want to be positive, and we're going into this season with a clean slate, Evan Ingram's not playing all 16 games. It's just
hmm
not happening.
That
You know,
that's why I said I still think as a group the tight end group is gonna get 1,000. Whether it's gonna be split between Evan Ingram and Caden Smith, or maybe Caden Smith and who knows Rice and John. I think the tight end group is gonna get 1,000, and
yeah,
then there's probably gonna be 1,000 yard receiver. If not, it's gonna be close to 1,000 between the three of them.
yeah. I completely agree. And so we'll see what happens, man. I don't think Daniel Jones is gonna get to 4,000. I agree with you. I think he'll definitely have more than last year. He had like 3,027 last
If
year,
if he if
12,
he
12
breaks the
30
4,000
games.
yard mark, is in my opinion is gonna be like barely breaking it, because I really expect them to do a lot of running. Not just because it's the Garrett offense, but we've been saying for a while now, 14 pad practices. A lot of team next year are gonna rely on the run game a lot just to reduce the amount of mistakes.
Hey, but let me tell you something. Four all right, he didn't start 4 games. He only started 12 games last year. He had 3,000, just about 3,000 yards, or 3,027 yards. If he only had 200 yards in those other 4 games, he would be at
The one
3,800.
thing you're
So
overlooking, I know what you're bringing, but the one thing you're overlooking is that Daniel Jones averaged like 45 throws a game last year. That's not happening this year because you're
yeah,
not
it's
gonna
not.
want
You're
you
right.
do.
You're right.
The reason he averaged 45 throws is because Saquon was out and he had to throw like
But
45
remember,
times.
but remember, Jason Garrett's offense is gonna be big yardage plays,
Yeah,
similar to like Kelvin
I do agree with you there. Yeah,
Gilbride's. Yeah, like Kelvin Gilbride's offense back then. It was just throw freaking chuck it down the field when you set up the pass through the run.
that's a good point. That's a good point as well for sure. Uh, Joel Yaddo says, oh no, Christopher actually says, surprised that Guskowski didn't try out considering that Judge was the special teams coordinator.
Yeah,
It's why I'm not ruling it out yet. But I mean, the probability of it happening is kind of low, just because no team has seemed to call him up for a tryout yet. I mean, it's all obviously deals with injury concerns, and the Giants are going to have to get him in somehow, see how he passes their physical and whatnot. But that's definitely a good point you bring up. You bring up there, Christopher. And Joe Yado says, if the Giants' special teams coach can get Rosas to kick better, I have to imagine he could get Catanzaro to kick better. Listen, Rosas kicked better because that was the year that Zach Diassi actually performed well. I think whoever the kicker is, they're not going to have any excuse but themselves because we got the Pro Bowl Casey Crater long snapper now.
yeah, and we've got guys there now, and Aldrich Rosas was a good kicker ever since he came in. Like I believed in him once we signed him back in like what 2017 or something like that. So, I think Aldrich Rosas always had it, but yeah.
Exactly. Nerding on Sports says, do you think we go after Logan Ryan or Drake or Patrick? I'm going to let you get this one first because I'm going to get a water bottle real quick.
Yeah, no problem. In my honest opinion, guys, I don't see us spending the money. I don't want us to spend the money. I know a lot of people want free agent cornerbacks. A lot of people feel like there's a need to sign a free agent quarterback. I don't necessarily think so. I don't think we need to sign a Logan Ryan or Drake Kirkpatrick. Let me just tell you right now, there's not a definite chance that DeAndre Baker is off the team. So yeah, let me just recap that. Since you were gone, I was saying that there's not a definite. It's not 100% that on DeAndre Baker will be off the team this year. Will it happen? It's probably a bigger possibility if the more evidence comes out.
And we can definitely shift into Sam Beal opting out as well.
Right, exactly. Because I know everybody's talking about this because of the Sam Beal situation, but we do have depth at the quarterback spot. Is it bad? I mean, I don't necessarily think it's bad. I just don't think it's starting talent. But we don't have the cap space to burn on a 1 year contract with
Yeah,
Logan Ryan. We don't
exactly.
have it.
That's the
Like
point I was
Drake,
gonna bring up. We ain't got
exactly.
money.
Like if Drake Kirkpatrick wants to get signed for 3 million, fine. I mean, if Drake Kirkpatrick gets signed, I don't think he wants 3 million. I mean, we'll see. He's been a free agent for a very long time now, and the season's about to start, so he may take a $3 million contract. But I'm not signing for anybody over $3 million. We need to save this cap space, guys. We're
And
projected
even
at just under 10 million right now.
exactly, and even if we had the cap space, listen, even Logan Ryan I wouldn't sign because I feel like we're gonna be good at slot corner. We're gonna be fine at slot corner. We're looking for an outside corner. You're gonna have either Darnay Holmes or Julian Love there. Most likely Darnay Holmes. We're gonna be fine there. It's the outside corner that's worrying. And with the Sam Beal opt out now, when I told Kidblue about this, he actually had the same reaction I did. He was like, "Does it really matter that much?" He even tweeted out, and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think anybody expected Sam Beal to win the outside corner job or anything." I was like,
Not only that, man. I didn't even expect him to compete because as soon as he went out there on the field, like, Coach, I'm ready. My leg, my leg.
I got glass bones and paper
Yeah.
skin.
Now
That's Sam Beal, bro. He can't stay healthy.
let
He
me tell you
wasn't gonna
guys,
make it far.
I don't ever wish for anybody to get injured. I don't really laugh. I know I just made a joke, but I don't really laugh at people getting injured. But you gotta laugh when every time you think this guy is gonna do something, he gets hurt. I mean, the moment we drafted this guy, his first practice, he hurts his back
Yeah.
and he's out. I mean,
And
come
then
on,
I
man.
can't remember when he went out last year. He came back towards the end of the year, but he
Yeah.
destroyed his chances last year because I think he got injured I think he got injured in training camp last
Yes,
year.
he never survived training camp. Similar to, yeah, if you guys remember Bennett Jackson. Bennett Jackson used to be a safety for us a couple of years ago. And we drafted this guy the same year we drafted Odell, in like the 7th round or something like that. And he would always look good in training camp. Always. Like, oh my God, we found a 7th round starting safety. If you guys remember who Bennett Jackson is, you guys know what I'm talking about. That guy out of Notre Dame. And every single year, I think he was at Notre Dame. Every single year, man, I'm telling you right now, we're like, oh my God, Bennett Jackson's going to start. He's going to be next to Landon Collins. He's going to be next to Antrell Roll, whatever the case is. The first 1 or 2 preseason games, breaking news, Bennett Jackson out for the season. I said, oh my God, it's the 4th year in a row, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, with the same thing I said with Nate Solder, some people might say I'm exaggerating, but I'm going to say the same thing for Sam Beal. Now that he's opted out, I don't expect him to be back on the Giants ever again. I said the same thing for Nate Solder. I'm going to extend that to Sam Beal. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. Sam Beal's contract is up this season because he got signed. He got signed in 2017 season, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's 2017.
No, I think it was 2018.
Really? 2018?
Yeah.
If it was 2018, he has one more year. If it's 2017, he's done.
Even if he has one more year, I still think he's done.
Yeah,
I don't see them bringing him back.
It's not like they're giving him. It's not like he demands a lot of dead cap money. So
Exactly. Joel says Slayton was working with DJ during the offseason. He's putting that. Darius Slayton's definitely putting in that work. The rookies from last year are putting in that work, man. Dexter Lawrence, because like we said earlier, the Giants might run a lot more 4-3 than we expected. Dexter Lawrence might see a big season this year because he's a big dude, and he's definitely going to be used a lot as the straight-up run stuffing, but he's going to be used a lot for pass rushing situations in a 4-3.
yeah, I completely agree. I'm excited about Dexter Lawrence, man. You could put him anywhere, man. You could put him absolutely anywhere.
Bro, better than the number 3 overall pick, Quinnen Williams, yo. Taking a number 17, Dexter Lawrence, yo. Is he better than Ed Oliver? Ed Oliver was somebody that I wanted.
Let me tell you, he was just flat out the best interior defender in the draft. Best interior defender. Ed Oliver's up there, but Ed Oliver didn't have the season that Dexter Lawrence had. I wish Dexter Lawrence was more consistent throughout the rest of the season. You know, he started off really hot,
and then he dropped off. Yeah.
Hot. And then he kind of dwindled off a little bit, but he still remained a little consistent. But I would have loved for his first half of the season to carry.
Bro, you know what that tells me, bro? That's coaching. That's James Betcher last year. That has to be coaching.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah, because offensive we're just figuring us out. Mm-hmm. I mean, the opposing offenses knew the scheme better than the actual defense did. They didn't even know what they were doing. I'll tell you right now. You guys want to know confusion? All right, you guys want to know confusion? Go ahead and watch the film for Week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, you had Jabril Peppers, who was supposed to be the guy being the single high safety. Which who the hell would put Jabril Peppers in the single high safety? He should not be back there. Exactly. But anyway, Jabril Peppers would focus on one guy and let the other guy just roam right by when he's playing single high safety. So he was confused. And then you have a situation. I had a film review. You guys can check it out. I had a film review on this. Antoine Bethea matched up on Amari Cooper in the slot.
Remember when they sent Marcus Golden out in coverage?
Yes,
I forgot what game that was.
They put Marcus Golden to play cornerback on Ezekiel Elliott. I know Ezekiel Elliott shouldn't be out right, but why would you even put him there? Oh my God. If you're going to put anybody to guard against a running back that got split out wide, it's going to be a safety. It's going to be an inside linebacker, something. You don't put an edge. You guys got to be freaking kidding me, man.
That's bro.
Oh,
That's why I fully expect Dexter Lawrence to have a great season this year, and to some extent the same thing for B.J. Hill, because B.J. Hill struggled in the first 8 weeks with Betcher with that same not so good defensive coordinator.
A lot of people were like, "Oh my God, why did we trade for Leonard Williams?" You got to look at B.J. Hill. He was extremely underwhelming. They thought going into that season they had that position locked down with B.J. Hill.
You have to attribute some of that to just Betcher being a terrible coach.
I completely agree with that, but there were some games where you didn't even know B.J. Hill existed. You're like, you completely forgot he existed. So you would see Dalvin Thompson, you would see Dexter Lawrence, the young Dexter Lawrence. So I don't know.
Speaking with Dalvin Thompson, get this man a captain badge, bro. He been out here just working ever since he entered the league, man. With at this point, it's gonna be 3 different defensive coordinators.
Let me tell you, that 2017 draft, I was like, when it came first Evan Ingram, I'm like, why the hell did we do that? I mean, oh my God. But now I'm like, he was still unneeded, but if he
I would still say the same thing. I don't know about you. I would still say the same thing.
No. What I'm saying is, if Evan Ingram reached the potential that we know he can be, I would be extremely happy with it. Say if he did, I would be extremely happy with it. Now, I would love Ryan Ramczyk. Don't get me wrong, man.
Yeah.
I am a huge Ryan Ramczyk guy. But I would be a little bit more happy with it if we actually hit a slam dunk with that. But that's just Jerry Reese, right? But Dalvin Tomlinson, that second round pick, was so confusing to me. Dalvin Tomlinson. I was like, why the hell did we get a defensive tackle in the second round? I'm like, oh my God, this is a Jerry Reese type pick. I'm like, this guy isn't going to do nothing. I never even heard of this dude. But he's our best freaking defensive player right now.
Yeah, 100%. No, I wouldn't say arguably. He's who are you gonna compare him to? It's not Leonard Williams.
I don't know. Some people might throw Jabril. Some people might throw Marcus Golden. I say. Some people might even throw Dexter Lawrence, the young Dexter Lawrence. But I'm gonna say Dalvin.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Dalvin. And of course, if you include the free agents from this year, I think the only person I'd put over him would be Bradbury. But I'd still put Dalvin there.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, I'm getting more and more excited for James Bradbury.
Let me hear about it, man.
Yeah, when we first signed him, I was very skeptical. I'm like, did we just sign this dude for like $15 million? I'm like, oh God. But
he was legitimately a top 2 cornerback on the market.
He was. I won't lie about that. Byron Jones is probably the best one out there. I will say this. Looking at the film against the NFC South players, and I know a lot of people like to bring that up, he wasn't great against them. I remember watching the Buccaneers game against Mike Evans, where he allowed 6 receptions, which is fine. But there were so many. It was bad quarterback play. I mean, if you would have put anybody else like Matt Ryan or Drew Brees and any other NFC South quarterback there in place of Jameis Winston, Mike Evans would have killed James Bradbury. But it was Jameis Winston that couldn't give the ball to Mike Evans. There were plenty of times where James Bradbury was on the floor. Mike Evans put him on the floor, but Jameis Winston couldn't get him the ball or just didn't see him. So the stats don't tell the full story. But the resiliency that I've seen from James Bradbury, every single game I've seen from him, he's always working on those number 1 wide receivers and does a fairly good job at it. The NFC South is a tough division to play with. You got Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. You got a lot of these guys out there, man. So, and especially Mike Thomas as well. So, and then I watched that Houston game against DeAndre Hopkins. That was his best game of the season. I was looking it up after I did my film review, and I looked up James Bradbury worst game of 2019. There was an analyst that said that he had the worst game of his season was against the Texans because he didn't have enough tackles. You gotta be an idiot to say that a cornerback needs tackle. If a cornerback has more than 4 tackles, they had a bad game because that means they're letting up those receptions. They gotta make the tackles. If like I want my cornerbacks to have 0 to 2 tackles a game, 0 to 2. And James Bradbury had like 1 or 2 tackles that game, and he had a couple pass
What was it? Well,
defense.
yeah. What were his matches like? What was his pass defense like?
I think he had 2 passes defense, but he was locking. Let me tell you right now, he only allowed 19 yards to DeAndre Hopkins. 19 yards. I think that was the official stat. He only allowed a couple. I didn't include the garbage time receptions because I don't really care about that. That was in garbage time, and they were playing the Panthers were playing prevent defense, and they were letting these guys catch the ball so they could run the clock out. So I didn't count that, but real time yards and receptions. I think it was like 3 receptions for 19 yards or something like that. I mean, James Bradbury locked him up, and that from that moment on, I was like, yo, I'm getting pretty hyped up about James Bradbury now.
I'm
Getting pretty hyped up.
Listen, man. I'm getting pretty hyped up with James Bradbury as well, just because Patrick Graham. I expect him to play a lot of man defense out there. I expect him to actually use Bradbury to his strengths, and if Baker was here, Baker would have been used to his strengths as well. Unfortunately, it's looking like he might not be here. Shout out to Benjamin Wynn in the chat. I don't know why you deleted your message. He was just saying hi to the entertainer. Not sure why he deleted that, but shout out to Benjamin Wynn in the chat. Nerding Out says the offense can be very similar to what we had in 2008. In terms of production, Nerding Out Sports, I'm with you. In terms of production, I'm with you because I've been on record saying this offense is going to be top 15 no matter what, and if everything breaks right, it's going to be top 10, like if everybody's healthy. I'm completely with you. In terms of production, we could be like a 2008 Giants offense.
Let me tell you, the defense has a part to play in that for the offense because I don't know if this offense has the firepower to keep up in a shootout if this defense is terrible. Like I believe in our guys. I believe in Saquon. I believe in our wide receivers, but I don't know if we wind up in a shootout situation where we got to score points extremely quick. Our team is or like Jason Garrett's offense is for methodically moving down the field. It's not for big plays and just stretching the ball down the field through the air attack. It's running the ball, getting the defense tired, burning out the clock. That's pretty much the how the offense is set up. If our defense is absolutely terrible like it was last year, I don't know if the offense will be able to keep up in a shootout. So I think the defense has a huge part to play in that. If they play decent, if they play at least decent, I think we use that kind of cowboy type mentality and just run the ball down your throat, make that other defense tired, and score points that way, and that's how we'll be a top 15 offense. But our defense definitely plays a part in how our
I
offense.
agree with you completely. The defense is gonna need to like, at the very least, be top 20, bro. I do not want us to be a bottom 10, bottom 12 defense. We might end up being that, but for the offense to hit its stride and be a top 10 type of offense, the defense needs to be in the 20s, in the teens, the 20s, around that area.
Yeah, completely agree.
The Wolves says, "Hub, why are you streaming? I'm currently watching Hunter x Hunter." Well, Wolves, I'm streaming because it's the Young Guns podcast. Follow us
Yeah.
everywhere: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe YouTube. Come on now, Wolves. You know why I'm streaming. Nerding Out says, "Man, I remember Bennett Jackson." We were talking about Bennett Jackson earlier, and
Yeah.
Christopher says Bradbury got a lot of screen time during All or Nothing. Good look into his mindset. All or Nothing. What is that? Is that a football
That's
show?
like the because HBO has Hard Knocks. All or Nothing is I forgot which channel has All or Nothing. I can't remember, but that's like Hard Knocks. It's like Hard Knocks, like a little lower grade. So they'll pick another team that Hard Knocks didn't choose.
Really? What year
Yeah,
was that for the
last
Panthers?
year,
That was
last year.
last year?
Yeah, then the year before that, I believe the All or Nothing was the Cardinals.
Yo, look at Wolves. Giants going to be the number one offense in the league, averaging 55 points per game. Daniel Jones throws 300 touchdowns. If that's happening, that means our defense is trash.
Yeah. Oh, possibly,
That
possibly.
means the
Yeah.
defense is literally
We.
on the field for like one play. They're just giving up a touchdown every play. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Christopher says, facts, Kidblue. '08 Giants stop the top on offenses very well. Short fields, turnovers, etc. You know what that brings up? A lot of people always say that the '08 Giants should have been like the second year in probably a trilogy, like a dynasty type thing. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I completely agree. But then the whole freaking Plaxico Burress situation happened and sent us downhill.
Now, here's my question to you, kind of more general NFL. What is like some of the best dynasties that never happened. For me, the '08 Giants are up there, but also the like the 2012
Seattle.
49ers
Oh,
and the I was gonna say I was
I
gonna
was.
say the 2014 Seahawks.
Yeah.
There's a couple of teams up there that just like never amounted to what they should have been, man. But like the Seahawks, the 49ers, the Giants. There's a team that's you could argue the Saints. The past 3 years, the Saints.
Yeah.
Like,
Saints.
what are some dynasties that come to mind, man?
Man, you could argue the Cowboys because the Cowboys were always good with Tony Romo, and they just never like they were that one year they were 13-3. I believe that was 2007 when they won a division and we beat them in the
Yeah,
playoffs. Like they never had an opportunity in the playoffs.
2016, 13-3 again.
Exactly, and we swept them that year. Then Green Bay finishes them off. So, the Cowboys multiple times they could have had something going, but they always get knocked back down and they have to rebuild again.
Oh, yo, the Packers, Aaron Rodgers. That's a dynasty that never happened.
Yeah.
One Super Bowl out of that dude's entire career.
You
And
could argue it was a regular season dynasty. I mean, he was always beat up. I mean, the Packers would kill everybody
I
in
mean,
the
come on,
regular
let's
season.
not do that. There's no such thing as a regular
No, no,
season
no,
dynasty.
no, I'm saying it was a dynasty, but if you want to call it anything, it would be a regular season dynasty.
Yeah.
Like Peyton Manning was the best regular season quarterback in the NFL.
I get what you're saying. I low-key get what you're
Yeah.
saying. Shout out to She Got Sports in the chat. She's another sports YouTuber. She does Giants videos a lot, but she also does like basketball and other sports. I think she does hockey. Not sure, but She Got Sports in the chat. Shout out to her. She was one of the first of the bigger sports YouTubers to check out my channel back when I had like 20 or 40 subs or something like that. So shout out to her. Definitely want to get her on either the Young Guns podcast or one of the square tables we do on Sundays at some point.
Yeah, yeah. Anytime you want to come on, Lauren, you just let us know. Oh well, we'll let you know, of course. Or if you want to collab on your channel, it doesn't even matter, man. Yeah, we can get it going.
Exactly. Wolves still going here with Saquon 700 touchdowns and 2 million yards. Wolves, I'm gonna need you to chill. That means Saquon is dead. His legs are gone, bro.
That means Saquon is dead.
He has no lower body if that's happening,
That
bro.
means we gotta draft a new running back.
Exactly. It means Wayne Gallman is the starting running back for New York Giants in 2021. I don't want that to happen.
Man,
Any other quotes from the Joe Judge press conference that coming into mind right now?
Look, I saw my notes from when I made the video. Leonard Williams, as far as the Leonard Williams situation goes, he doesn't know what the severity of the situation is, so he's just going by what the doctors are going by. So there's that.
Oh, he had a comment. I remember one of his comments was talking about how pressure is important to get on the quarterback, and he kind of brushed off sacks. He was like, yeah, sacks are good and all, and we'll obviously be very happy if we get sacks, but we're trying to get pressure. I kind of disagree with that comment because the Giants have gotten pressure on quarterbacks. They got a lot of pressure on quarterbacks last year. It's out there. You can go and check it out. They've gotten a good amount of pressure on quarterbacks last year. The Giants, and in this league's day and age, you need to get sacks. You need to get sacks, especially when you're going up against top 10, top 5 quarterbacks. With the schedule that we have this year, we're going up against a lot of the top 15, top 10 quarterbacks this year. You're going to need to get sacks because those guys, pressure doesn't faze them. And even then, when they're not a top 10 quarterback, for example, we could argue Dak Prescott. He might not be a top 10 quarterback. Maybe he's fringe. But with his offensive line, pressure isn't going to faze him because he's safe. You talk about all the time that the Giants they've actually gotten pressure on Dak, but he's sitting back there because the offensive line is giving up. I kind of disagree with his comment a little bit. I was like, no, it's not lucky if we get sacks. We need sacks. We need to get in there and finish the play.
Exactly, and I think that's one mistake that Joe Judge made because, like I said, that whole press conference, he was just trying to be neutral. He didn't want to really pick a side on, even though I think in some questions I think he should have. I don't think it would have been a detriment in any sort of way. He should have picked a side when it comes to that. I mean, sacks do matter. I mean, that's how these edge rushers are getting paid. Of course, sacks do matter. The pressures, if they mattered that much, this defense would be a freaking top 10 defense because all we did was pressure. All Leonard Williams did was pressure.
All we had last year from the pass rushing position was pressure.
Exactly, and he mentioned there's a reason why you don't have anybody getting 50 sacks a game even though they're forcing pressure. I get it, but you have to have that healthy balance. If you're getting 20 pressures, I want you to have like 8-9 sacks. If you're getting like 35 pressures, I want you to have like I don't know.
Like
12,
remember, didn't
sacks.
PFF do a stat or something like that? And Leonard Williams was one like leading the guys in pressures or something like that.
Something like that. I don't know,
Yeah,
but I know
that tells you how much we need sacks over pressures right now.
And Marcus Golden had I think 27 pressures, had
Yeah,
10
Marcus
sacks.
Golden Hall
I
had
think
like around 30 pressures. It was crazy.
yeah, like 27 pressures and 10 sacks. I think that's a healthy balance. I think it's a healthy to have like at least somewhat like around like one third, or a little bit more than one third of your pressures being sacks. That's a healthy number. I like that.
Yeah, I
So
agree. Judge should have definitely. I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying yeah, sacks are important. We need sacks. I don't think anybody on the team is gonna take that the wrong way. I think
right.
I think defensive players, I think the edge rushers, the pass rushers, they realized that we need sacks. I don't think that was gonna really stir up any type of bad blood in the locker room or whatnot. But like you said, he was being neutral the entire press conference, so that could be the case.
Yeah. Hmm.
King Justin says, you can never tell me that Dak is a good QB. He has so many weapons, but still can't win a damn thing. Listen, King Justin, I agree with you. But I use Dak as an example of not such a good QB, but has a great offensive line. That was the example I used Dak in. What are some other quarterbacks that we're going to play this year that are not exactly the greatest QBs, but have good offensive lines? And if we can't get sacks on them, nothing's going to happen. Jared Goff. I don't think Jared. Yeah.
That was the first quarterback that
I was
popped in
like,
my mind.
Jared Goff,
Jared Goff.
Jimmy Garoppolo, Jared Goff. These are not top 10 quarterbacks, but they have great offensive lines. If we can't get sacks on them and we're only getting pressures on them, it's not going to phase them. They're going to play as if it's a regular game.
Exactly, and you could argue the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think Big Ben is where he is anymore, and we faced the Steelers week
And
one.
the Steelers always have like a top
They
5,
have a
top 4
top-notch
offensive line.
offensive line. I guarantee you. I don't think Big Ben is where he used to be, and even if Mason Rudolph starts somehow, if we can't get to the quarterback, he's gonna light us up. How many times have we seen that a freaking terrible quarterback lights us up? Okay, so we have to get to the quarterback. We have to listen. Sacks are drive killers. You could ruin a team's especially a quarterback. You could ruin a quarterback's momentum like that. If you get a good lick on him, man, you get some. If you get him, have him hurting and have him, a little scared about what's going on. Like look at Eli. Look at Eli at the tail end of his career. He was paranoid.
I was just about to bring that up. I was literally
Yeah.
about to bring that up. If Eli was just getting a bunch of pressures on him and not sacks, he wouldn't have ended his career this early.
Yeah, and look at last year with the Jets. Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts. Remember what he even said? He admitted, I was seeing ghosts out there. A quarterback will play worse if they get sacked, not because of the play that happened, but after that as well. They're gonna be like, oh my God, is he coming again? Is he coming again? Let me just
Look at another
away.
classic example, a Super Bowl 42 Tom Brady. It's if
Oh,
the Giants were just getting
yeah.
pressure on him, the Patriots win that game, but they got sacks on him, and that paved the way for the win.
Right, they hit him real hard and knocked him to the ground. If you get pressure on him, you're not punishing him. You know what I'm saying? You're not. He's getting let off easy. He's got no grass on his damn jersey. You gotta push him to the ground, make him feel the turf.
Exactly, man. Yo, look at Wolves' comment, bro. Kim Jong Un is the greatest leader of all
Oh my
time.
God.
Wolves, you going through something, buddy? Need some help, man? You take a
I
sip,
still,
drink
I
some
still
water.
like Jared. I still like Jared Goff. No cap. Jared
I was
Goff's
just about to
all
ask
right.
you, what do you think about Jared Goff's outlook for this season?
I'm not
Because
listen when
and
Jared
the
Goff.
Rams' outlook in general, because it's
Uh-huh.
not exactly out there. It could very well happen. The Rams having a bounce back season and all that.
I think the Rams are still the third team in the third best team in the NFC West, but I don't think that's giving them enough justice. I think they'll be better. I don't think they really upgraded per se from last year, but I think they'll be better. I think Sean McVay is a hell of a coach. I think he'll find a way to rebound. I don't know if they kept Wade Phillips over there. I'm not quite sure. But they haven't really upgraded. They haven't really downgraded. They got Darrell Henderson there now, and they got Cam Akers there now. So that 1-2 punch will be all right. So I mean, as far as the Rams' outlook, I think they'll be a 9-7, 10-6 team. Somewhere about above average.
You think
And Jared Goff as well.
Yo, listen, 9-7, 10-6 in the NFC West is probably gonna get them a playoff spot, bro.
I'm telling you, there's gonna be three teams that come out of the NFC West. There might be three teams that come out of the NFC West.
Well, we're obviously gonna go with 49ers. Who's the team that's missing it? Is because I think the two teams we're
Seahawks.
thinking about. Seahawks are missing the playoffs?
No, they're not missing. They're not.
I was about to
missing
say. I said who are the teams that are missing it, and you said Seahawks.
Well,
bro.
Arizona's
Yeah,
gonna miss the
I'm like
playoffs.
it's between Arizona and the Rams for sure about who's gonna miss it. Mods, do your job with the most recent couple of comments, bro. I don't have mods, so you guys standing around with wrenches now. Um, yeah. So in terms of the NFC West and the, what do you think about the running game now for the my mind is blanking. My mind is blanking. The running game for the Rams. Because who's the running back now?
Well, the running back for the Rams, they got Darrell Henderson there, and they just drafted Cam Akers.
Yeah, do you
So
think they're gonna rely on the running game as heavily as they did before with that 1-2 punch, or you think Sean McVay's gonna try and come up with something like just crazy and pull it out of his magic bag of tricks and do something
well,
with Jared Goff?
they've always been like an air raid offense, but they're probably gonna have to be that more so just because they don't have a workhorse like Todd Gurley was. I think Darrell Henderson is good. I think Cam Akers is good as well. They'll be a good 1-2 punch, but they're not gonna replicate Todd Gurley's production.
I don't think anybody's like Todd Gurley was crazy in 2018.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the Rams are gonna have to figure something out. But they'll be fine because they got a good air raid offense. They got an offensive line that can keep their quarterback in the pocket for a certain amount of time, for enough time. And Jared Goff he's not great, but he's able. You know, he gets the job done. He won't do it in like a spectacular fashion, but you know there was a reason why their offense was so great. I mean, their wide receivers were okay. I mean, Brandon Cooks was okay. Robert Woods is okay. Cooper Kupp is okay. But are these guys like top-notch receivers? No, not really. They're all like slot receivers to me. They remind me a lot of the Giants receivers back then with Victor Cruz, Odell, and Sterling.
Well, we never got to see the best of Victor Cruz and Odell together, bro, and
Exactly.
Sterling. The closest we got to seeing the best of them was 2016, and then they just squandered that, my guy.
Yeah. The Miami trip screwed up everything.
I wouldn't even say it was the Miami trip. It's just that they didn't take anything seriously. Like, the Miami trip could have happened, but if they took everything, practice and whatnot seriously, then I think they would have been good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, unless there's any other quotes, Kidblue, that you got in mind from your notes, unless there's any other questions from the chat, we're probably going to end it off in about 4 minutes or so, end it at around 10:30. You got any more on your notes?
No, not really. If anybody wants to ask some questions in the chat, we can get going for you guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for like until 10:30. In the meanwhile, you could see how tired I am. Yeah, I could see how tired Kidblue is as well. First off, shout out to everybody for being here. Thank you for everybody to being here. Everybody in the chat and whatnot. So we talked about the Rams and a possible bounce back season. Another team people are counting out that may have a bounce back season, the Falcons. What do you think about the Falcons in 2020?
Falcons are an interesting team to look at because this is a team that has a really good roster in place, and they've always really had a good roster. They've always been hit by the injury bug, though, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Keanu Neal, I think he's out again. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'll just pull it up right now.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Keanu Neal's always out for the season. He's one of their really good pieces that they have on there, along with like Deion Jones. I don't think Takaris McKinley's there anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong about that too. But the Atlanta Falcons,
he's good right now. It seems like.
He's good. Okay.
Wow, one of the top searches is Keanu Neal healthy? That's one of the top searches, bro.
Yeah, you can tell a lot of Falcons fans are looking that up. Okay,
yeah.
So. They have a really good team in place, man. It's just gonna be hard to compete now with the Buccaneers on the rise and the Saints already at their position. They're Super Bowl contenders, and now the Bucs are automatically Super Bowl contenders. And the Falcons are an interesting team. We'll see if they make it. Like I said before, the NFC West is probably gonna have 3 teams go out. So you have one. With the 7th seed, you have one more spot left. You're gonna be competing with the NFC North. I don't think the NFC East, but you'll be competing with the NFC North. If the Vikings or Packers, they're going to be competing. So,
yeah,
hit or miss.
We got the 2 final questions here, one from King Justin, one from Nerding Out Sports. King Justin says, what do you think about the NFL's take on our ceiling and floor? Do you know about the NFL's take on our ceiling and floor?
I saw that they posted a video. I did not watch it yet, but that video's like almost 2 hours long.
Oh, yeah, I'm not watching that, no.
So I'll probably skip to
let's just give our ceiling and floor. My ceiling for the Giants is like 8-8, 9-7. On my floor is like 4-12.
My ceiling for the Giants would be 8-8. I can't see us going 9-7. I can't see us having a winning season. I think we're gonna have. I think if this season was a traditional season and COVID was out of the way, I think I'd probably put our ceiling 9-7 just because of what Joe Judge is doing. If he had the full amount of time, he would do even better. But I can't see us going more than 8-8. So I'll say 8-8 is our ceiling, and our floor, I would say is. I'm gonna go one step ahead of you. I'm gonna say 5-11.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 5-11 because I think we're definitely better than last year. And I know
we're definitely better than last year, but this year's schedule is like 100 times harder.
I know we're facing a tougher schedule, but I feel like we might lose games that we should win, and we might win games that we should lose. So,
Oh, you think we win Steelers week 1, bro? Imagine if we win Steelers week, are we calling that game together?
dude, we'll call any game. Whatever game you
I
want to
bet.
do. We'll
If
do anything.
bro, imagine if we win Steelers Monday Night Football week 1, I will go crazy. I will go wild.
If we beat the Steelers week 1, we're gonna be talking about playoff etc. I'm
We're
not
we're
even
talking about
joking.
playoffs
I
from
don't
week
even
1, bro.
I don't even want to talk. I don't even want to be biased, but I'm sorry. The Giants have never. The only time that in recent history the Giants have won week 1 was in 2016, and we
Mhm.
made the playoffs. Okay, that's when we beat the Cowboys. All right. Other times before that, we haven't won a week 1 game since like 2010 or something like that. I don't even remember. Somebody could look
It
that
was
up.
like a crazy like 7-year stretch of just not winning week 1.
Yeah, we don't win week 1, especially because we face the Cowboys usually at week 1. But we're facing this Pittsburgh Steelers. They're arguably probably more of a threat. So,
If we
and
win week 1, I am talking about playoff expectations,
yeah,
biases included, bro.
especially of how if we beat them badly. Because
Yeah.
remember, their strong point is our weak point. Our weak point is getting pressure on the quarterback. Their strong point is protecting their quarterback. If we blow them out, that means we're probably getting pressure on the quarterback and sacking the
And vice
quarterback.
versa. Their strong point is their defensive line, and our weak. I wouldn't say our weak point is our offensive line because we think it improved, but it's probably going to be weak for the
It's gonna be
first couple of weeks.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
It'll be a little vulnerable, especially with Cameron Hayward there.
T.J. Watt,
Yeah, I forgot all about Cameron Hayward, but he's there. T.J. Watt and this
Bud
other dude,
Dupree.
Bud Dupree. You know they got some dogs over there, man.
Exactly. And the final question for tonight. Now that Golden is officially back, who leads the team in sacks? It's Golden. It's
Golden,
in the question. Marcus Golden is gonna lead.
Golden.
I fully expect Marcus Golden to get in between 8 and 10 sacks again this year.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna say 8 because I feel like they're gonna try to incorporate the younger guys a little bit more just because it's a new scheme. But I'm completely with you. They're gonna lead. He's gonna lead. I'll say 9. I'll go
Marcus
right in the middle.
Golden is the
9.
most consistent pass rusher on our team. You could
Yeah.
look at that as bittersweet because I mean, I think he's consistent. People say he's inconsistent, but the years he was not performing up to snuff was when he was suffering from the ACL injury. But it's bittersweet because you want your consistent guys to be O'Shane Zimenez and Lorenzo Carter. But hey, maybe by the end of the year, one of them is ahead of Marcus Golden, and that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, and let me just say too, everybody's always getting on Marcus Golden because he doesn't stop the run very well. Okay, guys
He's
have
a pure pass
roles.
rusher, bro.
Yes, guys have roles on the team. Okay, they're not supposed to do everything. All right, you can't get mad at somebody for. Listen, we run a 4-3. I mean, we run a 3-4 with arguably three nose tackles, right? We Dalvin Tomlinson, Dexter Lawrence. I mean, Leonard Williams is not a nose tackle, but three defensive tackles, okay? They should be stopping the run. We have three of those guys out there, and they're elite run stuffers, okay? That's their job. Marcus Golden's job is to get to the quarterback, all
And
right?
he does that at a good pace.
And he ranked very high in quarterback pressures. Now, he had 10 sacks, so he gets away. He gets by me, man. And if you
Hmm.
watch that Tampa Bay game, he was all
And
over
the
Jameis
Patriots
Winston.
game. Tampa Bay and
Yeah.
Patriots game were by far his best games.
You watch that Tampa game, guys. I'm telling you right now, there were times where he could have had 5, 6 sacks, but he let Dexter Lawrence get in there. He let O'Shea's not
Yo,
because he just stopped.
which
but
is another reason I like him on here because I know what you're talking about. I think he's gonna be a great mentor to these guys. I think he's a
right,
great locker room presence.
yeah.
And like Golden Tate, he actually wants to be here. He's been said since last year he wants to be with the Giants. Another guy
Marcus
that wants to be on a losing team.
Marcus Golden shown his veteran experience in that Tampa Bay game because I remember one play in particular. Jameis Winston had a clean pocket. Marcus Golden's coming off the edge, and Jameis Winston had a clear room to just run, step up in the pocket and make a throw. And Marcus Golden recognized that, stunted inside, and Jameis Winston stopped in his tracks, moved to the right, and ran right into O'Shane Jimenez. And that was because of Marcus Golden. If Marcus Golden didn't do that, if he was Lorenzo Carter, who doesn't have much experience, Jameis Winston would have stepped up in that pocket, either ran or threw the ball for an open receiver. Because somebody got to be open. It was our
Exactly.
secondary.
It was
our secondary.
that was Janoris Jenkins' like probably worst game, bro. We almost lost the game because of how bad the secondary
Oh
was.
yeah, we should have lost that game. But Matt Gay is Matt Gay. You know what I'm saying? So
Can't kick straight, bro.
yeah.
um,
I love it. I love that. That was a good one. Can't
Nerding
kick
Out
straight.
says, Yep, Golden's on a mission once again to prove why he deserved a bigger contract. And I said this, I low-key feel sorry for him because he deserved a $10 million contract, man. He deserved
I
that.
think so.
He 100% proved himself last year.
It's because the media never hyped him up, because everybody was always talking about his run stuff. He's not a good run stuffer, and that hurts him, man. He's in the New York Giants media too, so they're probably always like, "Hey, you should be doing better. You should be doing better. Pick up the weight for all these other guys." Dude had 10 sacks on how much was he being paid last year?
He was being paid $3 million.
$8 million, got 10 sacks for it. He tripled his freaking
His
sacks for the
quality,
millions of
bro.
Giants, man.
He
Holy
tripled his value.
Exactly. Dude was a great. He was better than expected. How many of us thought that when Marcus Golden was signed, he was like, "Oh my God, this guy's gonna have 10 sacks." I said, "This guy's gonna get 4 sacks for us."
Man, I do feel sorry for him, but I hope he takes it as more motivation because once again, he seems to be just a great locker room guy, bro. He seems to be like a legitimate like a Giants type of leader guy, and I hope it just motivates him even more.
Yeah, he seems very chill. He seems very good, chill dude.
Yeah. And shout out to Zetatos in the chat said I just won a Warzone game. Congrats. I mean, if you guys can have more questions, we can continue. But I mean, unless that was it, we might end it right here. I'll probably wait for like a minute or two more to see if any more questions come in. But KB, since I mean, is there anything on your mind right now? Since Marcus Golden kind of came out of nowhere towards the end there.
I mean, not really. I just want everybody to keep your expectations realistic, okay? Comes to Marcus Golden, I know we're bringing him back, but I don't want anybody to expect he's gonna have a terrible year, but I don't want everybody to expect he's gonna be like freaking lighted up. Because
Temper your expectations for basically everybody on the team, yo.
Yes, everybody, because everybody could have a down year. Look at a bunch of these guys, BJ Hill.
The only person I fully expect to not have a down year is Saquon Barkley because he's Saquon Barkley.
Exactly, and especially the wide receivers. Darius Slayton, yes, Darius Slayton's great, but he has a small sample size. We don't know if it's set in stone that he's going to be fantastic. So just stay realistic, guys.
Shout out to Board and Arrow in the chat. He says just checking in, got his wisdom teeth taken out, so he's in pain.
Oh,
Board and Arrow, bro, get some rest. I haven't had my wisdom teeth taken out, but I heard it could be very painful.
Yeah, I had 4 teeth removed to put in my braces, but I didn't get my wisdom teeth pulled out. But I wasn't put on the gas. Borna, I hope you didn't tell your deepest, darkest secrets, man.
Yeah, a lot of people when they get put on the gas, they just start like saying everything.
Yeah, they start saying stuff that they held in for years.
Exactly. Wolves, I mean, I'm willing to not end it as long as you guys come on with the questions. You guys keep pouring on the questions, we'll keep going. Mikey
Sport is trolling me, man. He said Nick Gates team MVP.
Yeah, look at what Mikey C said. He says, "Tell Kidblue we're betting so that he can wear that Nick Gates jersey." Remember, I said that first. What is it gonna take for you to wear a Nick Gates jersey?
Nick Gates has to start the majority of the season
at right tackle.
Yes, at right tackle.
And how does he have to perform?
And surrender less than 3 sacks. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Bro, Andrew Thomas might not surrender less than 3 sacks.
No, I'm talking about because I don't think he's going to start all 16 games. So, yeah, I'll say if he starts at least 8 games and
he surrenders like less than 4 or 5.
Yes, 8 games, 4 or 5 sacks, I will buy a Nick Gates jersey. Those things are gonna be like $25 anyway. So this could be like $25.
You gotta make like a whole unboxing video, bro. When it comes, get the camera ready. Like, all right, guys, here's the Nick Gates jersey.
It's not gonna happen, but I will if it happens. But it's not. So.
Oh my God. Zetato says which rookie, and shout out to Paola the Jesus in the chat saying hi to KB. Zetato says which rookie do you think is going to have the best year this year? If it was a regular offseason, Andrew Thomas, no doubt. Now I'm kind of leaning towards maybe Xavier McKinney or Darnay Holmes. I still want to say Andrew Thomas really badly, but I know he's going to struggle the first couple weeks, so I'm going to go maybe Xavier or Darnay. What about you?
I'm actually leaning Darnay. My only gripe with Andrew Thomas is obviously left tackle so hard to play in the NFL, especially when you're getting not enough reps to practice, get ready for it. And then Xavier McKinney, I think he's going to be great, but I think his shine is going to be taken away from Jabril Peppers because they're the same freaking player. I mean, they do the same thing.
This is where I do disagree with you, bro. People really underestimate his coverage ability. He's really good with covering tight ends and slot receivers, and that's what he's supposed to be.
Yeah, No, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what Jabril Peppers
Jabril
does. He
Peppers
covers.
cannot cover tight ends, bro.
Oh, yes, he does. He covers fine with
He
tight end.
cannot cover
He's a
tight ends,
strong
bro.
safety.
He
Strong safeties cover tight
Jabril
ends.
Peppers is not as good at covering tight ends as you think he is. Xavier McKinney can at least like he could keep up with an Evan Ingram, bro.
Listen, strong safeties cover the running backs. They
And
cover the tight
and I will say
ends.
this: he's not the best in deep safety coverage, but he's good enough. There's a reason he was the best overall safety in the
Right.
draft.
He's good enough. That's the thing. He's good enough. What if they try to exploit? What if a team that's an air raid offense tries to exploit that, and they say, "Hey,
Well, how many
Xavier
teams in the league
McKinney,
are air raid
good
offenses
luck."
though? How many
Huh?
teams in the league are air raid offenses though?
A lot of them, man. Let's see the ones we're playing against though.
Yeah, yeah. Pull up the
Philly's
schedule.
air raid. Philly's air raid.
So
And they
that's twice a year, but Philly's probably, like we said, Philly's probably gonna collapse. So I don't know
yeah,
about that.
Philly's air raid. The Rams are air raid. Um, I got to pull up the
Oh, the
schedule.
Rams' offense is 100% gonna change this year, though. It's gonna have to change for them to like, they can't run it the way they used to.
Yeah,
We
but
both agree
that's
on
what I'm
that.
saying. They're gonna be air raid.
And
Um,
Nerding Out says, do they even make Nick Gates jerseys? Yeah. What if Nick Gates actually pulls through? What
the
are you gonna do? What
disrespect.
what are you gonna do if he actually pulls through? Are you gonna like order a custom jersey
I
if
mean,
he
listen.
pulls through?
If he pulls through, his jersey is still gonna be like freaking $50, man. That's not gonna be a lot. I don't
That's if
know.
they make it. That's a legitimate question.
No, they do. You'd be surprised. They make jerseys for everybody. I'm telling you. You'll see one. You'll find one. Not at a store. You have to order it online from the Giant store.
What
But they
number
make
does Nick Gates wear, by the way? Let me see.
uh 65.
For some reason, I thought it was 69. I was gonna say nice. Yeah, he's 65.
Nice. Well,
It's a travesty that nobody on the team wears 69.
let's look at these air raid offenses. Okay, the Steelers have become an air raid offense since they lost Le'Veon Bell.
Okay.
They let's see. Bears are running. 49ers are running. Rams are air raid. Cowboys are running. Washington is. They try to be air raid, but they suck.
Washington is
They,
not going anywhere with Dwayne Haskins,
yeah,
right?
the Eagles are air raid. The Bucks are air raid.
With Brady?
Um, huh?
You think they're running air raid with Brady?
Yeah, their running game is non-existent. LaShawn McCoy ain't gonna do crap for them, man. Um, let's see. Oh, that's pretty much it. I mean, Cardinals. I don't know if they're gonna run the ball as much,
I don't think the
but
Cardinals are gonna fully switch to air raid like they said. It's probably gonna happen next year, though.
yeah. But I mean, there's a couple of them out there, man. There's a couple of them out there. But as far as back to the initial question, I think Darnay has the best set out for him because he's actually put in a position where that's the best position for him.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
If he's
I
put
think
in the slot, he's gonna be a monster.
exactly. So I think that's the best position for him. The only problem I have, I think, listen, don't get me wrong. Don't mistake this. I think Xavier McKinney's gonna have a really good year. Don't get me wrong, but I think his shine is going to be taken a little bit away from because Jabril Peppers is there. I think Xavier McKinney most benefits in the box. Can he play deep? Absolutely. But there's a reason why a lot of why he
So, all
wasn't
right.
the
So
best
tell me
cover
this
team.
then: how effective is the duo of Xavier and Peppers gonna be? Because I think they're definitely gonna pull a couple of stunts where like quarterbacks just don't know which one of them is coming down.
That's a good point. But here's the thing: Jabril Peppers sucks in coverage, so I think everybody would understand that. And if he does play in coverage, well, Jabril Peppers doesn't suck in coverage necessarily. He sucks in deep coverage. He gets very lost. And Xavier McKinney, you could argue, got very lost too. But who knows? If the NFL is different, we saw what happened with Darius Slayton. He became a different receiver. Let's see if Xavier
Darius
McKinney.
Slayton literally became a whole different
Yes.
ball player,
So
bro.
listen, I won't keep that out of the realm of possibilities, man. Xavier McKinney might be, fantastic. Look, a lot of people like to compare him to Minka Fitzpatrick. He's very similar to Minka Fitzpatrick, but the only thing is that Minka is excellent at coverage. I mean, he's amazing at coverage. Xavier McKinney lacks that a little bit, but they are very similar. So hopefully Xavier McKinney could be a little less than a Minka Fitzpatrick. I would take that. I'd take that.
If he's like 3/4 of the player that Minka is, we're set.
I'd take that. I would take that.
Exactly. Oh, yo. Yo, Zenito's disrespectful, bro. He said Nick Gates' jersey cost the amount of a McDonald's meal, bro.
I wouldn't doubt it, dude. I wouldn't doubt
Bro,
it.
if it's actually that cheap, I might get it just for the sake of getting it.
Hey, I'll look it up right now.
Nah, it's probably like maybe I would say $40 maybe in Nick Gates' jersey.
I would say around that. Let's
Yeah.
see.
Lewis Bryan says, and by the way, Lewis, let me know if it's actually pronounced Louis or something like that, because I know sometimes it's pronounced like that. Shout out to Bavit in the chat. He says, what up, players? Will Corey Coleman make the team and contribute at wide receiver? I think he's going to make the team, but I
Oh,
think he's going to
crap.
contribute maybe at, like, special teams. What happened? Did you find the jersey?
So on the official NFL shop and Fanatics.com, it's $75.
No way. For
If I
Nick
want to,
Gates?
yeah, there's one from, I don't know if anybody has ever heard of Marbagar. I don't buy jerseys that often, so I never heard of this website, but they're selling it for 55. That's the cheapest I find it right now.
Yeah,
Mar
nah, bro. 75 is literally the same price as any other player.
Yeah, that's who the hell is doing that?
I don't know who's doing it, but they making a mistake, yo. Who's buying a Nick Gates jersey for $75, yo?
Yeah, his family.
Nah, they probably get it for free from the
Yeah, they
Giants.
got it for free
They
anyway.
100% get it for free.
They have a Nick Gates jersey for $125 on the freaking Shop Giants site. Holy
100 and
crap!
who now?
Yeah, but that's the Pro Line version. That's like the really good material.
Oh my God, can you imagine what like the price is for like Daniel Jones or Saquon for the Pro Line version? Jesus Christ.
Oh, they had a Saquon jersey. I think on the official Giants website for like 250, bro. No joke. Because it was like the really good, like the
This is
pro.
why I don't be buying jerseys like that. I get my jerseys secondhand, man.
Yeah, my Saquon jersey is a gift. It was a gift to me. Oh, they have a Saquon jersey for 99, but let me see the most
Yo,
expensive one.
Nerding Out says, bro, it's a sale on Fanatics, 30% off. Don't miss the opportunity. Get the Gates jersey.
No, listen. He needs to prove it first. Why are you guys assuming that Gates is gonna do well?
Bro, I mean, yo, man, once he blows up, KB, when Nerding Out, bro, what Nerding Out is saying, once he blows up, there's no going back. That 75 is
Once
105.
once he blows up, he ain't blowing up nothing, man.
Bro, he's going to be blowing up opposing defensive linemen. What are you talking about,
No,
bro?
he's gonna be blown up. He's gonna he's gonna get bull rushed and get blown up. And listen,
Hey,
I wish Nick Gates the best, man. But if he's starting, I wish him the best, But it is what it is. It is what it is.
oh, look at
It's
Wolves,
bittersweet.
bro. Look at what Wolves just said.
What do you say? Uh, Wolves. I know. Listen, everybody's. You're not the first person to say that, Wolves. I mean, Dylan Renner's been saying that for months. He's been saying that since January, and I got whooped. Wolves have
Dylan
been
Renner
saying
owes
that.
him $10.
Yeah, Wolves. You don't want to owe me $10, man. You don't want to do it.
Oh man. But yeah guys, I think we're gonna end it right there. I think, everybody's questions kinda ran out, which is fine. We went for a good amount of time tonight. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Thank you for everybody for asking questions, being in the chat, being general, good participants. Any last thoughts, KB?
No. Just go Giants. Make sure you guys continue to support as we're going through this rough patch of content right now. We're just trying to give you guys the best content possible. So your support means the world, guys. It definitely motivates us. So make sure you guys hit the like button, comment, interact with the videos. That sends the video creators a message to keep posting and keep posting.
Mhm.
So that's gonna help us out a lot. And I think I just saw the hub reached 1,500 subscribers. So congrats to you on that, my
Oh,
friend.
thank you. I did.
Yeah, 1,500. I don't know if they rounded up, but it said 1.5. So
Bet. Let's go, guys. Thank you
congrats
for
to my
that.
guys. So yeah, guys. That being said, thank you guys for watching.
Oh yeah, one last announcement. On Friday night, for those of you that are gonna be in my fantasy football leagues, I'll have 2 with the subscribers. I'm actually gonna make the link public tomorrow, so it's literally gonna be first come first serve for any spots that are left. You click on the link, you join the fantasy football league. The draft is gonna be Friday night. I'm
I'll
gonna live stream it.
probably do that. I'll
Yeah,
probably do the same because last year was so freaking terrible. I mean, I had guys DM me
because it was 20
like
players, right? I was like, nah, I gotta make it 2
yeah,
different
yeah,
leagues.
but even after like freaking after the draft, I was getting like 20 DMs like, hey, can I join? I'm like, dude, the draft ended like 4 days ago, man. What are you talking about? But
Yeah,
yeah.
and I gotta remember to like apparently Ligma has like 3 accounts in there. I delete 2 of them. Let him